numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't covering my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, 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 who don't play.
Music licensing reimagined.
Play, who don't play, 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 who don't play, 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 who don't. Long time coming, black on the bottom of my feet from running. Cataracts under my eyes from hustling. Going from buying to selling to customers. Run up the business, God is my witness. Sun up the sun up from Monday to Sunday. We maxing our limits. My mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie. Moving a mission, they say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation. I'm finessing a visit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to Stat Diggers for UFC 327. We have a phenomenal card coming up, a phenomenal main event. Yuri Prochazka going against Carlos Ulberg. Unfortunately, we lost the co-main event at Taira versus Joshua Van, but still a fire card from top to bottom. And it's one of these cards, Wheezy, where we don't have a ton of big favorites. I mean, the biggest favorite on the card is a guy who's been knocked out like 10 times, and Aaron Pico, sitting at minus 350. Other than that, we got a lot of very closely lined fights. I think you can make a lot of cases for both sides. It's going to be an interesting card to break down. But yeah, what is up, Weezy? Are you looking forward to UFC 327?
Yeah, I am. I mean, this is a great card pretty much from top to bottom. Even the late fights that they added, the Mederos fight, the Radtke Prado fight, these are fun fights too. So a lot of high-level fights, though. I mean, going from last week to this week in terms of name value, in terms of top 10, top 15 fighters, it's a completely different ball game. Big sample sizes from all of these fighters due to them having a lot of UFC experience. So great fight for us cappers to break down, because we got a lot of tape on all of these guys. We got a lot of stats and cage time on all of these guys, and a lot of ways to figure out what their paths to victory might be in these matchups. So looking forward to breaking it down with you in the chat, trying to find some ways to make some money on this card.
Yep. For sure. Before I get into, if you guys could do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We go live every Monday for some Stat Diggers. Take a nice, deep, early look into the card. And, of course, keep checking out the Fight Companions Saturday. Me and Uncle Weezy have been on there having a lot of fun. And we'll be going live Saturday once again for this card, of course. So we'll say what's up to the chat, and then we will get into the recap for UFC Vegas 115 last week. We got Daniel Forrest, first one in the chat, saying, man, an hour and 40 minutes before the show, and I'm excited to see if Brady used the tape fund to put up posters in his background, hashtag not a sauna. I'm getting to it. I'm working on it, Forrest. Hopefully they'll be put up maybe by Saturday. The posters will be put up. I hope so. Josh Hokat fight week in Miami. I would be surprised if that fight is not entertaining. Agreed. I think the main card is going to be just an absolute banger, every single fight on it. TH saying Jerry, Jerry fight week. One of my favorite fighters. I know he's one of Uncle Weezy's favorite fighters. Cannot wait for that. It's Kevin Holland fight week. Kevin Holland is the opposite of one of my favorite fighters, but it is Kevin Holland fight week. My God, they gave Pereira a bonus. That's a lot of mall pretzels she can buy in her next fight. Yeah, they gave like McMillan, Zucchini, and Pereira a bonus, which I thought was kind of odd. They didn't give Ethan Ewing a bonus, which a lot of people were upset about. We got Carlos in the building. What is up, Carlos? Can't wait to break this card down. Mo money, yes. I don't know what's worse, Bakov losing to 5-4 Tresean Gore, or Guilherme Pat throwing his fight by not doing anything. Well, that's just the typical Guilherme Pat experience. Just doesn't do anything. That fight was dreadful. When we're betting spots sticking out on this card compared to the last one, I only had 5 units on the last week's card. I think I have almost 5 units, or I think I have like 4 units already right now, and it's a Monday. Can we talk about the early stoppage in the Cowan fight? No. Tardy, no, not us. We're definitely on time. Yeah, this is weird. So apparently the UFC has a review light now that they put on the walkway. Yeah, me and Weezy, we saw that on the Fight Companion. What the heck was that about?
Yeah, the siren, the cage side siren,
So weird, just so random. Maybe it's gonna help them review things. I don't know. That was wild. The boys are out on time as usual. Yes, definitely on time.
Absolutely.
Makov gave me full-blown AIDS. Oh God. When there's a goal scored, they light the lamp. I don't know what the lamp's all about, man. Never late. Agreed. Come on. We got KO. What's up? We got Boogie. What's up? Even though we lost the title fight, this card should still deliver. Agreed. It's going to be a fun card. Oh, imagine trying to fit and Trayshawn for eyeglasses. That'd be tough, man. Haley Cowan definitely needs to get some help. Yeah, I did put 3 options of who needs to get some help. I only could come up with 3, but the 3 options were Guilherme Pat, Azamet Pakov, and then Haley Cohen. So vote to see who needs to get some help this week. I'm thinking Swanson this week. Nate Landwehr should never be a favorite in an MMA fight. Yeah, you can make a solid case for both guys. You know, one guy's like 42, and then the other guy, Landwehr. I think Landwehr's kind of slowing down in his own right, and he's 37. So that's going to be an intriguing fight. On time, every time, agreed. I'm feeling lots of money. I hope so. I think we as the audience are just reversely agree. That's exactly. Brady Weezy, have they released bum ass Guilherme Pat? Just when I thought nobody could look worse than one William Knight, Pat said, "Hold my beer," and decided to stand there like a vegetable in a coma. No, they have not released Pat yet. Unfortunately, they'll get there. Good evening, gentlemen. What is up, Gus? Easy money spots. I hope so. Catching this shit at the start once at the gym. Going to go ahead and work out while I listen in. Lost my plus 1,500 5-leg parlay by Yankiev, or however you spell it, getting the sub instead of the KO. Yeah, that's why I didn't bet the KO or sub this time, because he got me with that last time. Last time I had the knockout and he head kicked Sakara, and then instead of following up, he submitted him. So I stayed away from that. But yeah, Moicano did look easy money. Cowan was winning the round before the KO. She was. I had Moicano plus 5.5 or plus 185. Wow. Jeez.
Oh, wow.
Nice line there. We got Lembo with the 199. Appreciate you, Lembo, saying I kind of miss the elevator music at the beginning. I don't. It kind of pissed me off. Is that a weird vibe for the show? Is that a very bad vibe for the show? So we got no more elevator music. No more elevator music. Let's go. You guys love joining the club. What is up, KL? Jerry is a chump. What? I go call Jerry a chump to his face. Bad things will happen.
Oh man.
Yeah, whoever's giving the bonuses need to get it together, man. Ewing is so good. Been telling everyone, yeah, he's very good. That was insane performance. If you compare the 327 and 328 main cars, they're very similar. Outside of this, Van and Tyra, yeah, 328 is going to be maybe even better than this card. 328's looking crazy. Don't be silly, Brady. Zucchini deserves 100K for his performance more than Ewing. Yeah, Zucchini really laid it on the line. I'll give him that for sure. Went heavy on the Reyes Walker under. God, doesn't start round 2 at plus 125. Where do they have odds out already, Martin? Let me know. But I would take the fight doesn't start round 2 at plus 125. Let me know where that's at. We got Icy in the building. What's good? I can't believe Bukov got project by Gore of all people. Yeah, that was crazy. Uncle Weezy called that Gore upset. Yeah, he was gonna bet on Gore if you guys signed up for Underdog, but you guys didn't. Cost Weezy some free money there.
Yeah, like when I want to back Medina, they'll gladly sign up and get me into that bet. But when I want to back Teresian Gore against a guy, like that really needs takedowns to look really good, I'm still surprised that Gore outstruck him, though, because he does so little. But I don't know if you heard the interview after the fight. He said he wasn't satisfied with his performance, Brady. He said he'll be satisfied when he's sleeping Khamzat Chimaev.
I did hear that. Good for him, man. It's good to have belief in yourself.
Hell yeah.
2-division champ. Let's go. Pat has been controlled for 50% of his UFC career thus far and has 100%. That's wild.
Wow.
That's absolutely insane. Sober Gore, heck yeah. McMillan, worst footwork in the UFC. That fight was fun, though, at least. It was not technical by any means, but at least it was fun. All right, Weezy. So what we're going to do now is do a quick recap of UFC Vegas 115. I'll let you go first since there's not much to recap.
Yeah. So I really didn't make any bets. I had a weird week. My girlfriend and I went to Asheville, North Carolina on Wednesday to go see a show. And then we were going to fly right back home on Thursday afternoon. And then I was going to finish my research for the week, do my prop show that I do on oddshopper.com for my subscribers, and then figure out what bets I wanted to make. Well, our flight got canceled and we got stuck there an extra night. And it was one of the only times I've ever left my house for a day and decided I'm not going to bring my work computer with me, or the computer where I have all my spreadsheets and everything that I need in order to do my work. I left it at home. So I was without my stuff for a couple of days, but I got to see Slow Mosa on Wednesday night. Great stoner metal band, Brady, from Norway. They absolutely destroyed. It was a great show. And while we were walking to the Slow Mosa show, I noticed that the Monophonics were going to be playing the next night with Lee Fields, who's this amazing soul singer from back in the day. And I was like, too bad we're not staying an extra night. We could go see Monophonics and Lee Fields. Well, we wound up getting stuck there for an extra night. So we headed to that show. Phenomenal show over at the Orange Peel in Asheville, North Carolina. So shout out Asheville, North Carolina, beautiful city. Shout out the Orange Peel. Shout out the Eulogy. Shout out Slow Mosa. Shout out Monophonics. Shout out Lee Fields. All phenomenal stuff. But because of that and getting stuck there, I only had one bet. I put a half unit on Chris Duncan to win by submission. It was nowhere close. But that's elite bankroll management, Brady, on a really bad card in terms not of entertainment value, but just in name value. So I didn't really have any bets. I didn't do any free content on YouTube last week, but I'm ready to be full on and ready to go for this week, where I've already got 5 units in tracked bets so far, and I'm just getting started.
Yeah, you're kicking my ass. I have 4 units of tracked bets.
Yeah, well, see, but we'll see who winds up ahead at the end of the week, because I think we both got a few more bullets in the chamber that we're going to be letting fly this week.
There's no room for racism here, right, Brady? Yeah, there's not. Who's being racist, man? Don't be racist, guys. Come on.
Is it me? What happened?
I gotta kick you out, man.
Damn. Well, it's been nice, guys. I
gotta kick Uncle Weezy out. It's been a good run.
It has. We've had a really good run here.
All right. Anyway, I kept it extremely light, Weezy. 5 units on the line, and it was very efficient because I think it went up almost 3.5 units. Started off the night with Bakoev KO1 for a half unit at plus 400. I don't think I've ever gotten so much crap for a half unit shot in my entire life. Like, people were coming after me like I laid 6.5 units to win one at minus 650 on it. So lost a half unit on Bakoev in what I thought was his most likely win path because his cardio is not great. I didn't think he'd be able to wrestle Gore. I thought if he was going to look minus 650, he'd knock him out. And obviously that didn't happen. So I lost a half unit. I don't know how I'm going to recover from that, but I did recover from that. I had a half unit shot on the Venata sub. I was loving every second of it. Venata was wrestling his ass off. He talked about how over the last 3 years, all he's been doing is wrestling, grappling. He got his BJJ black belt. He got multiple takedowns. And he was working for the sub. You could tell that was the game plan, to submit Darius Flowers, who had been submitted 6 times. So I don't hate that bet at all. And then I also had the fight doesn't go to decision, and the Flowers Venata fight parlayed. So that came through. So started the night out 0-2, and then got on the board with Alessandro Costa under 2.5 same game parlay. When we were on the fight campaign, I did the reverse jinx, Wheezy. I said, dang it, another L. And then a couple seconds later, a body shot knockout. With that said, though, I couldn't believe how, what's the word? Costa just wasn't showing any urgency. It's like you have Stuart Little in front of you. Like, get this guy out of there. But he finally got him out of there just in time, cashing the cost under 2.5. And then the big part of the night was the Ewing KO 2-3 half a unit at plus 600. There were 2 spots sticking out in the fight. A was Estevan decision at around plus 240. And then B was the Ewing KO 2-3. Was shocked to see it was such a massive number. I thought it was very live, as did the entire MMA community. I think the community kind of cleaned up on that Ewing fight. Got the half unit at plus 600 for a 3-unit win. I had the Rockman under 0.5 rounds, which just missed by like 20 seconds. And then the fight won't start round 2. And then I had a half unit on Duncan inside the distance. And then I had the fight doesn't go to decision to close out that Flowers Venata parlay. So went up about 3.32 units. Yeah, the rough start to the year, but the wagons are starting to circle. It's been a great last 4 weeks and looking to continue that for UFC 327. Bakoev needs the most help, but Venata's body might be a close second. Yeah, that was a brutal brutal slam. That was about as brutal as it's gonna get. Brother Brady, what is Tatiana Suarez and Lupe's foot? We'll get there. Hey,
Yeah,
you bet your ass we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Pitbull upset, Luque upset, Costa upset. I mean, yeah, you can make a case for every single dog on the board this week. It's kind of crazy. Like the biggest favorite is freaking Aaron Pico, who's has no chin, so it's crazy. Let's see. Lena Venata, Uber, Wash. I thought he was looking good. He was looking pretty good until he got slammed, but it is what it is. We got Brad. What's up? What's up? Lando, a capoeira white belt. Lando needs major help. Yeah, I could have put Lana Venata on there. Losing to Darius Flowers is never a good look. Haley Count was robbed. Lost a big on her. I thought she was robbed too.
Such an early stoppage. I mean, come on. Let them fight, Brady.
Let her fight. Let her go out on her shield. Pipe up that like button the way Pereira piped up Cowan. Agreed. Agreed. Looked in watching before I leave for Miami on Thursday to attend UFC 327. I'm jealous, man. Enjoy it. Miami's always a freaking good time. The Cove is done. So you guys have been killing it. Me and Weezy crapped the bed at the start of the year with the piping and the milking. We didn't really get anything going. But last week, Weezy, they had Abdul Rahman Yakiv to pipe Renson Ibarra. It was kind of a milking.
Yeah, kind of a milking. He decided to just exploit that 0% takedown defense of Ribeiro and just get on top of him and finish it that way. But, still, I mean, like he ran through him. We'll take it, right?
Yeah. And then they got the milking. The milking should have been the piping. It should have been like flip-flop because the milking of the week was Tommy McMillan to milk Manolo Zucchini. He piped him. He piped Zucchini, and Rahman Yakiv milked Ribeiro. So we'll give you guys 75% credit, but yeah, good picks regardless. You guys have been killing it the last couple of weeks, so maybe we'll let you do it again this week and vote. What else? What about
Underdog, the play of the week?
Oh yeah, we got that came through super easy. Didn't you have wasn't the Pat lower on significant strikes and then the Yakiv lower on fight time?
Yep. And the Pat under 40.5 significant strikes. I mean, the fight went like 14 minutes, and I don't even know if he landed 14 significant strikes. So, like I said, I think it might take him like 3 or 4 months to find that many significant strikes. So that was a great play from both of us there, and we got to find another play that's going to hit this week.
Yep, I already got mine ready to go. So let's see. And then as far as who needs to get some help, gave you guys 3 options. Let us end the poll. And in third place, Haley Cowan. Believe it or not, only 17%. I don't know. I don't know about that. Guilherme Pat, 24%. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
And then in first place, Azamat Bakoov, 59%. Lost is like a minus 650 favorite there. So apparently Bakoov needs to get some help.
Yeah, and evidently Trejan Gore is coming for that belt, Brady. That was a great performance by him, man. You got to hand it to him, dude. He stuffed all the takedowns. He landed the bigger shots on the feet, and he showed way more urgency than he's shown in recent fights. So, for a guy who's talked about, he from his mouth, we've heard him say future 2-division champion, that kind of stuff. It was good to see him go out there and get a win against a highly touted prospect.
Yep. Good to see Trejan Gore show some urgency. I think he has all the tools. Just the urgency's never been good. All right. So now let's shout out our sponsors. And the first sponsor is going to be the Big Brain Discord. Big shout out to the Big Brain MMA Discord for sponsoring the show. And big shout out to Big Steve. Big Steve has a bunch of sharps in there that are giving out their plays each and every week, betting on all kinds of promotions and all kinds of sports. Every single promotion you can think of, Big Brain Discord is covering it. Most sports you can think of, Big Brain Discord is covering it. The Discord runs 24/7, and Big Steve's goal is to create one of the most sharpest Discords in the space. So check it out, the Big Brain Discord, and access tons of bets per week from various different sharp bettors and various different sports. Big ups to Big Steve for sponsoring the show. The link below for that, if you want to check it out and join the Discord, is going to be in the description, and I'll also put it in the chat there. So big shout out to Big Steve for sponsoring the show.
Yeah, and I just posted my full fight write-up for the main event in his Discord as well. So you could check that out if you do join up there. And like we said, not only just UFC stuff, but every regional scene promotion. He's got people in there, sharp bettors giving out sharp looks. So it's a great Discord to be a part of with a great group of people there.
Yep, lots of sharp guys in there. Indeed, big ups, Big Steve, and big ups to Underdog Fantasy. Right now, if you go to Underdog Fantasy and use code DFSBTN, you will get $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5 lineup. Me and Weezy have been doing pretty good on the Underdog, these last couple of weeks. Hopefully, we can keep it up for UFC 327. And I believe right now, if you go to Underdog, they have like a 30% boost as well. So, go to Underdog Fantasy. It's available in 40 out of 50 states. Use that code DFSBTN when you sign up. Play your first $5 lineup, get your $50 in bonus funds, and go get that 30% bonus that they got going on there. I don't know how long that's going to be up there, but a free $50 and a 30% bonus, Wheezy, it doesn't get much better than that.
No, you're not going to do a whole lot better than that. And they got a phenomenal amount of markets to play higher and lower on there. And we're always finding great spots. So, yeah, this is a great way to support the show as well. Not just the Big Brain Discord, but Underdog Fantasy. Get those $50 in free bonus funds. And make sure you use that code DFSBTN, Brady.
Don't forget to use the code. And then last thing we talked about was the soccer kick. That was crazy. I don't know. It was, I don't know. I don't have any thoughts about it, to be honest.
We got to get Barbosa over there to Risen, where that shit is legal, and she'll be able to thrive.
It was a hell of a kick,
It was right in the throat. Just
right.
A nasty, nasty kick. And it was one of those things where we were like, so wait a second, they're going to be starting this back up. Really? That was a little bit shocking. That was a wild one.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a DQ, but what do I know? What do I know? All right, we got some fights to get into. I say we stop fucking around and we get right into it. And we're going to kick it off with Charles Radtke going against Francisco Prado. We got Radtke, who is 35 years old, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. Francisco Prado, 23 years old, 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. Prado is going to be, I can't do math anymore, 13 years younger. It's going to be Radtke with the same height and 1-inch reach advantage. Charles Radtke is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Gilbert Urbina. Knockout loss to Carlos Prochazka. Knockout win against Matthew Semmelsberger. Knockout loss to Mike Malott. And then a submission win against Daniel Frunza. As far as Francisco Prado, 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Jimmy Malarkey, but lost that fight by decision. Knocked out Otman Azaitar. Lost a decision to Daniel Zellhuber, Jake Matthews, and Nikolai Veretennikov. So, yeah, this is a fight that they kind of put together. Radtke was supposed to fight Jose Henrique, and Prado was supposed to fight some other dude. So they're kind of putting these guys together after both their opponents pulled out. And yeah, I don't like the fact that Prado is fighting up at welterweight. It makes no sense to me. This guy kind of seems small for lightweight, so don't love him fighting at welterweight. Radtke's going to be the bigger guy, the stronger guy. I think he has a couple paths here, whether that's mixing in the takedowns or landing the bigger shots on the feet. I'm not high on Prado at all, but he is young. He's a lot younger. He's only 23 years old. He's been training at American Top Team, getting that South Florida sun, and he's extremely durable. So, Weezy, what are your thoughts on this first fight of the night?
Yeah, I mean, I think on the Prado side, you're getting the guy that's obviously 12 years younger, and you're getting the guy that has a big durability advantage. But I think that's all that he's got here. I think that Radtke's going to be the cleaner, more powerful striker while his fight is on the feet. He's the bigger, more physical welterweight. He's got the higher level experience, the better wins as a pro. He's got a big grappling advantage here. I think his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, his ability to be able to win minutes and moments on the mat while controlling his opponents, is really underrated. He's got a left hook that can sleep you if it lands clean. And like I said, when you look at guys like Prado, you can't be losing 30-27s to Jamie Malarkey. You can't be getting dominated in 2 out of 3 rounds by Nikolai Veretennikov. And I mean, Veretennikov was credited with 3 takedowns in that fight. I don't think he shot any. It was Prado that was initiating the grappling exchanges and just getting reversed and thrown around like he was nothing. So while I think Radtke can stay on the feet and win the boxing exchanges of this fight, I think what would be the smart way to go would be to take this guy down, to get to his back and to look for that rear naked choke like he did in the Frunze fight, because Prado is going to swing for the fences when he's on the feet. And he's probably like juiced to the tits, Brady. I mean, like you said, he's in that South Florida sun. And there seems to be like market confidence on this guy. And I mean, like, there's money coming in on the Prado side. And I just don't know what on tape anybody could see from Prado to say, like, I want to back this guy in a fight against somebody that's not, you know, like a 155 pounder on their way out of the sport, like Atman Azaitar. If you're getting like kind of run through by Nikolai Veretennikov, I don't think it's going to go well for you against a guy like Radtke, who can really do great things on the mat.
Yeah, I had a bet on Veretennikov as an underdog against Prado, and God, that fight gave me AIDS, dude. That fight gave me absolute AIDS. That Veretennikov fight?
Dude, I remember when he threw like that fifth spinning back kick and DC goes, oh my God, he just spun again. You know, because he had gotten taken down 3 times from the spinning kicks and they were too close. And like, if you go and you watch that fight, you'll listen to Cormier and I swear you're going to laugh when he does it for like the 5th time and DC goes, oh my God, he just spun again.
I had the same reaction as DC. I was like, there's no way he just did another.
And he won the fight.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Won the fight. Like, it was so bad, man. I mean, this should be easy for Radtke, but you know, I mean, obviously Prado is a lot younger. He could be making big improvements between fights at the age of 23, training at a place like ATT. But I think Radtke's better than him pretty much everywhere, dude. So I think he's going to win this fight.
Yep, I would tend to agree. Radtke opened up -250, currently -175. Francisco Prado opened up +210, currently +150. The over-under set at 1.5. The over 1.5 -205. The under 1.5 is +177. So, yeah, let's see if Radtke mixes in those takedowns, uses that size. It says they're the same height. I mean, Radtke is going to be the bigger and stronger dude for sure. I mean, Prado, either somebody's lying about their height.
Yeah, and I think it might be, I don't know which one it is actually, because Radtke's not a huge welterweight either. He used to fight at 155 earlier in his career, obviously, but you know, I think he's filled in at 170 pretty well, and he's shown against some of these guys that he can not only knock you out, but he can out physical you and out grapple you as well. He did it to Blood Diamond. He did it to Frunze.
Yep, always be grateful for Radtke cashing me a +600 submission ticket against Frunze. With like
nice.
A minute left. It was freaking awesome.
And he was this close in round 1 too. So close. I thought he had it in round 1.
It was fully locked in, but Frunze's tough.
Yeah, he sure is.
You ever bounced on it while breaking down fights live? No. Prado too small for Radtke. Agreed. The only thing that worries me is the durability of Prado. He is durable. That's like the one
very
thing
durable
I do like about him. He has like a Ethan Ewing built head, one of the biggest heads in the UFC. Prado.
Yeah, his chin can take it, dude. I've seen him just eat flush shots, and it's like, whoa, dude! It didn't even look like it bothered him.
Yeah, he's super durable.
Yeah,
that would be my only worry. But yeah, Radtke has just so many ways to win this fight. Radtke round 3 KO. If UFC success was solely determined by head size, Prado would be champion. He'd be up there, man. He'd be up there. Prado swings well. Hello, Prado. Cut Radtke if he loses. Oh, I think Chuck is taller than 5'9". I think so, too. Radtke has to be 5'10". Yeah. Imagine the scene if Radtke gives a post-fight speech like he did after beating Blood Diamond in the Paramount era. He might, man. Radtke's he speaks his mind. Big Uncle Weezy knows. He knows. Google has both their heights listed as 5'8". I mean, I could see Prado being 5'8", but I think Radtke's probably 5'10". I could see something like that. We'll find out when these guys face off. I'm almost certain that Radtke's the bigger guy, but we will see. All right, Weezy, moving on to the next fight. It is going to be Markel Mederos going against Chris Padilla. We got Mederos, 29 years old, 5'10" with a 69-inch reach. Padilla, 30 years old, 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. Mederos 1 year younger, 1-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage. Mederos is 5-0 in his last 5 fights, had a first-round knockout on the Contender Series against Isakov, had a decision win against Landon Quinones, a decision win against Austin Hubbard, and then a decision win against Mark the Shark Choinsky. As far as Chris Padilla, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against Thomas Yontop, won that fight by first-round submission. He beat Rong Zhu by knockout, and he beat Jai Herbert by decision, and then he beat Ismail Bonfim by knockout. So I'm a big fan of Chris Padilla. How can you not be? This guy is just the definition of a dog, super tough, super dangerous. He's going to come forward. The only thing I don't like about this fight for Padilla is they finally caught on Wheezy. This guy was been getting priced as if he's some bum. You know, he was a pretty big underdog to what's his face, Hamas Young. He was like Yontop was like minus 500 in that fight, and I mean that was a crazy line. Padilla took him down and submitted him shortly after. He was a pretty big dog to Rong Zhu and completely busted his eye open with that elbow. I bet him as a dog against Jai Herbert in what was a very close fight, and then he was even a dog against Bonfim. I think the line did close up a little bit. Towards the end of the fight week, but still, the odds makers have kind of been disrespecting him, Wheezy, but now they're respecting him, and now we got to lay minus 180 on Chris Padilla, and at that point, it's like Padilla's a guy I want to back as a dog, not at minus 180. And in this fight, Mederos is a pretty good fighter, really good striker, really good leg kicks. But I still think I lean Padilla just with that forward pressure. I don't think Mederos is going to like this pressure coming his way. I think Mederos kind of wants a pretty fight on the outside. I think Padilla is going to make it a little dirty. Uncle Weezy, what are your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, so like you mentioned that we're seeing Padilla at the most expensive we've ever seen him. We're also seeing Mederos at the cheapest we've ever seen him too. So in one case with Padilla, you got a guy who was plus 360 against Jimmy Yontop. And by the way, I want to remind everybody, if like the belt was given to person with the biggest head size, Jimmy Yontop would probably be the greatest of all time. I mean, even better than Ethan Ewing. But plus 200 versus Rong Zhu for Padilla, plus 118 versus Jai Herbert, and then right around a pick'em versus Bonfim. And now we're paying about minus 160, minus 170. And for Markel Mederos, all 3 of his fights against Landon Quinones, Austin Hubbard, and Mark the Shark Chowinsky, he was priced between minus 138 and minus 150. And now we're seeing him, what is this line right now? So it's 155 for Mederos and minus 180 for Padilla. So yeah, we're getting Mederos at the cheapest price we've ever seen him. We're getting Padilla at the most expensive price we've ever seen him. When it comes to the striking numbers, Markel Mederos throws a lot more volume at distance. He throws about 14 significant strike attempts per minute, while Padilla throws about 10. And Mederos has got a really nice 53% accuracy. He throws a little bit more to the legs than he does to the rest of in terms of where the divisional benchmarks are. He throws more to the legs, as does Padilla. But I would say the head strike numbers, they favor Padilla a little bit here. When it comes to the grappling, we've seen Mederos do an all right job of just kind of keeping fights standing if he wants them standing. But we did see Austin Hubbard have a lot of success getting him down, holding him down for extended stretches. And as a result, we've seen Mederos kind of lose 31% of his UFC octagon time being controlled by his opponents, while we've seen Padilla out-control his opponents 22% to 1%. So I feel like Padilla's got a little bit more upside when it comes to winning minutes in the grappling exchanges. He's got the better head strike numbers here. But it's going to be Mederos who throws a little more volume, throws a little bit more kicks. I think it's going to be a close fight. But for a guy that's 4-0 in the UFC and Chris Padilla, the market's just starting to catch up now about how good this guy is and how reliable he's been at this level. Maybe minus 180 is where he's supposed to be priced, because let's face it, if you've been backing this guy, what are my ROI numbers show 191% ROI for Chris Padilla over 4 fights. So he's just consistently outperforming market expectations. While for Mederos, he's got a 69% ROI over 3 UFC fights, Brady, but you could argue that he lost the Hubbard fight. You could argue that he lost the Landon Quinones fight. And really, who gives a shit if he beat Mark the Shark? So I think I gotta lean to the Padilla side here, even though, you know, the pricing for both of these fighters is much different than we've seen it so far at the UFC level. I still think Padilla has got good chance to look good on the feet and keep it very close while having the better minute winning upside in the grappling exchanges of this fight.
Yep, agree. It just sucks we're not getting him at a good number anymore. They're on. It took them 4 fights, but they finally got it. The 5th fight, Reezy. So Padilla opened at -150, currently -180. Mederos opened up as a +130 dog, currently +155. The over under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 -205. The under 2.5 is +177. Over is the way. The over is kind of juiced to the tits, but I do lean that way myself. I can't stop winning by betting on Padilla. Yeah, if you bet on Padilla, you're looking good. I had the finish only for Padilla in the Bonfim fight. I had the money line for Padilla in the Herbert fight as well. So I've been making some money on him too, but not here. I won't be betting at -180 personally. Padilla KO round 3. Taco by submission. Yeah, I would like to see him go to the grappling here. We saw Mark the Shark have a little bit of success with the grappling. We saw Austin Hubbard have a decent amount of success with the grappling, and Padilla definitely has it in his back pocket. So we'll see. Tell them, Unc, we've been winning. Yeah, he's right. He's right. I'm with him too. Mederos grappling gives me anxiety. Me too, man. Me too. Speaking of anxiety, we do this next fight gives me some of that. It's Kelvin Gastelum going against Vicente Luque. We got Gastelum, 34 years old, 5'9", with a 71-inch reach. Vicente Luque, 34 years old, 5'11", with a 76-inch reach. Same age. We got Vicente Luque 2 years older and a 5-inch reach advantage. Kelvin Gastelum is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. A decision win against Chris Curtis, submission loss to Sean Brady, decision win against Daniel Rodriguez, decision loss to Joe Pfeiffer, and then a decision win against Dustin Stoltzfus. As far as Vicente Luque, is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against RDA, a knockout loss to Joaquin Buckley, submission win against Themba Garimbo, submission loss to Kevin Holland, and then a decision loss to Joel Alvarez. So, Weezy, it's funny, we talked about this fight a couple days ago, and we decided that this is a fight where you got a guy who quits in the cage versus a guy who quits on his diet in Kelvin Gastelum. And I'm going to go with the guy who quits on his diet. You know, I can't pick a guy who's quitting in the cage. I mean, Luque, he hasn't done it once. He's done it twice now. The Buckley fight, what happens in the second round, Weezy? He goes for a single leg, he pulls guard, and then he covers up. I would say he's doing the Anthony Smith, what do they call the Anthony Smith corpse guard? But at least with Anthony Smith will move around like every 5 to 10 seconds so the ref doesn't stop the fight. Vicente Luque just covered up and just didn't move, and it got TKO'd by Buckley. And then Weezy did it again in the Alvarez fight. In the Alvarez fight in the second round, he goes for a single leg. He doesn't get it. He pulled guard, and Alvarez proceeded to elbow him and punch him. And the ref just forgot to stop the fight because Luque was not defending himself. Yeah. And then Luque decided to lay on the ground for the last 5 minutes in the third round as well. So it's crazy, man. But, you know, Luque is one of these guys who we always said, you know, is super tough, would never get knocked out. Then he finally got knocked out against Jeff Neal, had that brain bleed. And since then, he just hasn't been the same. So you got a guy who doesn't take his career seriously in Kelvin Gastelum versus a guy in Vicente Luque who just, quite frankly, I'm not sure why he's even there. He clearly doesn't want to be in there fighting, Weezy. So they're kind of a weird one here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, and this is at 185 pounds too. Yeah, you know, which is weird, right? Because like we already know that Luque is on the back 9 of his career. We already know that Jeff Neal changed this guy's career trajectory in a horrible, horrible way for Vicente Luque fans and for Vicente Luque himself. But like, you know, obviously Gastelum, he had to move up to 185 because he's got a weight problem, Brady. You know, I mean, like, and we can relate to that. I like to eat too, you know. I mean, not everybody is great at cutting weight, but the one thing you'll never see Kelvin Gastelum ever do is quit in the cage.
Yeah.
He's not quitting in the cage. And like, you could hit him in the head with a sledgehammer and he's going to keep coming forward. So one of the most durable guys, but when he missed weight at 185, it was just hilarious, dude. 191 he weighed in for the Stoltzfus fight, 191. So, I mean, Gastelum just doesn't care about making weight, but Vicente Luque is now moving up from 170 to 185 because he doesn't seem to really even want to cut weight anymore, which I think that what that tells me is that, first of all, there's a pretty big strength to schedule advantage here on the Gastelum side. Out of 84 middleweights that I have ranked, Brady, he's ranked number 4.
Oh my gosh.
Out of 84 in terms of like his strength to schedule. When you look at, the overall records of his opponents, the win percentage, how many fights he's had, all that stuff factors into my ratings. While Vicente Luque was ranked number 17 out of 78 in the welterweight division, which is also a strong ranking. But when you put the names side by side, you got a guy in Gastelum who's fighting in 5-round fights a lot, just fighting at a much higher level. And, with Luque, I think he'd have to be like maybe getting takedowns here, because I think on the feet, Kelvin's gonna beat him up. When you look at the head strike numbers, if you go click on that SP tab right next to the one that you have highlighted, like I'm looking at the numbers here where Gastelum's landing 2.39 significant head strikes per minute and absorbing 2.22. So a slightly positive differential there. Luque's landing 2.93 and absorbing 4. Like that kind of number, absorbing that many head strikes when you're already like your durability just has left you. It's not there anymore. I feel like that Gastelum is a guy that's much better suited to win this fight on Saturday than Luque is at this point in his career. I think the career trajectory for Luque is horrible. I think the durability concerns for Luque are very real right now. And when you're facing, a guy as durable as Gastelum, and that all the finish upside is probably on the Gastelum side, and that he's the better striker anyway, I got to go with Gastelum to win this fight.
There's just such a big difference in durability, like a massive, 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 massive difference. And like Luque even said it himself. He said he didn't want to get hit. He was scared to get hit. Those words came out of his mouth after the RDA fight. He was like, I was terrified to get hit. We saw him get 8 takedowns in that fight. So yeah, I don't know what Luque is doing here. I'm hoping this is his last fight, because just these last fights have just been bad looks. Just very bad looks for him.
Yeah, and one of my favorite fighters of all time too, and I'm sure yours too, Brady. The guy, I mean, until the Jeff Neal fight, he was like a Nico Price, and they fought twice and put on phenomenal wars. Not the most talented guy, but he was going to come out there to fight and to put on a show every single time, and he always did that. But when your brain starts bleeding after a loss, that it's time to start thinking about how you fight and the way that you present yourself in that cage, because when you start taking damage after having that kind of a health scare, it's something that you don't want to be doing.
I know. Now he's looking like Anthony Smith out there. It's sad. Very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad to see.
Yeah.
Vicente, please don't hit me, Luque. Yeah, he's gotten hit a lot. The Gastelum via blockhead. Gastelum, another guy with that guy's a big head too.
Yeah, he does.
I said the same thing. Luque Gastelum would have been incredible back in 2019.
Yeah, it would have.
Oh, imagine betting this fight. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Gastelum can still fight. Yeah, he can. He actually looked okay against Pfeiffer, later in the fight, and he was landing some bombs on Dustin Stoltzfus. If he lands those same shots on Luque's pulling guard and covering up. So, is there both fighters miss weight? Luque won't miss weight, but Gastelum might miss weight. We'll see. Yeah, but Gastelum versus Padilla, Taco Eater versus Taco. Gastelum by weight miss. Oh, gosh. Good evening, Brady Weezy. You gentlemen look as handsome as Verna. Verna's extremely handsome. I don't think
that is a huge compliment coming from Dr. Pina right there, Brady.
Big ups, Dr. Pina. I'll take a shot on Gastelum by KO. I was hoping it'd be a better line, Weezy, just because Gastelum literally hasn't gotten a knockout in almost 10 years. But the KO prop is only like plus 135. The books are sharp, man. They've been seeing Luque do the Anthony Smith corpse card these couple of fights. So we're not getting a great number on it, but maybe it could hit. Hang on, Luque. Oh, Luque, hang on. All right. I say we move on to the next fight, Uncle Weezy, and it is going to be We got Tatiana Suarez going against Luque Godinez. We got Suarez, 35 years old, 5'5" with a 66-inch reach. Luque Godinez, 32 years old, 5'2" with a 61-inch reach. Luque, 3 years younger. Tatiana with a 3-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage. Suarez is 4-1 in her last 5 fights. A decision win against Nina Ansaroff, a submission win against Montana De La Rosa and Jessica Andrade, a decision loss to Zhang Wei Li, and then a decision win against Amanda Lemos. As far as Luque Godinez, 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Decision win against Tabitha Ricci, decision loss to Verna Jandaroba and Mackenzie Dern, a decision win against Julia Pilastri, and then a decision win against Jessica Andrade her last time out. So, yeah, I mean, if this fight was a couple of years ago, Weezy, I mean, I'm max betting Tatiana Suarez at like -140 or -150. If this fight was a couple of years ago, before like the Zhang Wei Li fight. But the fact of the matter is, this fight's not a couple of years ago, and Suarez just hasn't looked great. And I know she fought Zhang Wei Li. We can excuse that, but still wasn't the best look. And then the Amanda Lemos fight, I didn't really like to see that. She couldn't take down Amanda Lemos. It was a very close fight. You actually could have made a case for Lemos winning the fight just because Lemos did more damage. And, Suarez was like -500 there or something crazy. It all depends if Lupe's able to stuff the takedowns. If she does, Lupe's definitely the better striker. Lupe's boxing has looked incredible as of late. I think this could be a very close fight, Weezy. Suarez can get some cage control, potentially mixing some takedowns when this fight's at distance. You got to favor Lupe. I think Suarez is kind of more than on her way out, and I think Lupe's kind of a dumbass. So I don't think it's a fight I'll be touching. I'm still scarred from betting on Lupe fights ago. But I kind of think Lupe's alive here. But we'll see. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? Because Suarez is at that point in her career, Brady, and we all knew it would come for somebody who's battled cancer twice, who's blown out her knee a couple of times. It's been sicknesses and injuries and long layoffs for Tatiana Suarez for years upon years upon years upon years. It ruined her Olympic dreams. It's put her career on hold for MMA a couple of different times. So now she's 35 years old. Now we're starting to see that dominance, in the grappling exchanges start to become a little bit more suspect. And with Luque Godinez, when you look at the current resume, right, who are her recent opponents? You're seeing Mackenzie Dern in there, Verna Jandaroba, Tabitha Ricci. She's been out there against some of the better grapplers in the division. And even in the Dern fight, that was 50-50. The Verna Jandaroba fight was maybe 55-45 in favor of Verna, but it was a very close fight. I mean, like, Lupe was in leg lock scenarios with Verna and looking very comfortable there. So it's really hard for me to picture Tatiana Suarez having a lot of grappling success in this fight. And if she doesn't, I think that there's even a chance Lupe could get takedowns. And I like Lupe's striking a lot more, but Tatiana's been working on that, and she's 3 inches taller and has a 5-inch reach advantage. So I think that Tatiana, with the threat of the takedowns, can maybe keep the striking exchanges a little bit closer than the market thinks that she can. But I also feel like Luque Godinez is going to be very, very difficult to score points off of in the grappling exchanges of this fight. I mean, we saw Verna really struggle to do that, and we saw Mackenzie Dern really struggle to do that. And both of them are way better submission grapplers than Tatiana Suarez is. So I think that this fight is a very, very close to being 50-50 at this point. I favor Lupe's career trajectory. And when you look at her recent performances and you consider how close the Dern and Jandaroba fights were, and that one of those fighters is a champion and the other one just fought for the championship and won 2 out of the 5 rounds, I don't think Tatiana Suarez is going to bring anything that Lupe hasn't seen from her recent opponents. So I'm kind of actually looking to back Lupe here just because of career trajectories and solid grappling defense that Lupe's going to bring to the table.
Yep. Makes sense. I'll be passing on this fight. I don't really want to bet on a wash Suarez, and Lupe's just never on my bet list ever again. There's 2 fighters on this card that I just no bet list. Luque Godinez and Kevin Holland, who we'll unfortunately talk about in a little bit. But yeah, money is coming in on Luque. A lot of money has came in on Luque. Holy crap. Luque opened up plus 190. She's down to plus 125. Suarez opened up minus 225, currently minus 145. So a lot of money has came in on Luque Godinez. And of course, the over is juiced to the tits, minus 425 for the over 2.5. The under 2.5 is plus 334. I'm always wrong on Luque. Luque, yeah, her fights are kind of tough to predict. Corpse guard is funny AF. Yeah, the Anthony Smith corpse guard. Gotta love to see it. I don't think Suarez has a lot left in the tank. Yeah, that Lamos fight was just a bad look. Like I said, I'm not even convinced she won that fight. Remember when Suarez was female Khabib, Hepperidge Farmer members? I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this fight was a couple of years ago, I mean, it's Suarez all day. I just don't think it's the same Suarez. A lot of people in the know says winner of Suarez Luque takes on Cowan. Oh gosh,
Yikes!
That'd be crazy. Godinez is going to get in there and wrestle this weekend. Late to the party. All good. This fight has bad juju. No way to know what will happen. I think it's going to be a close fight. Could be a very close fight. Agreed. Better seem to love Luque. I don't get it. Super thin margins. Yeah, I think this is a super thin margins type of fight as well. So maybe that's why money's coming in on the dog, you know. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be Kevin Holland going against Randy Brown. We got Kevin Holland, 33 years old, 6'3" with an 81-inch reach. Randy Brown, 35 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. Kevin Holland, 2 years younger, same height. Kevin Holland with a 3-inch reach advantage. Holland is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Submission loss to Reinier de Ritter. Decision win against Gunnar Nelson. Submission win against Vicente Luque. Decision loss to Daniel Rodriguez. And then a decision loss to Mike Malott. As far as Randy Brown, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Muslim Salikov. Decision win against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Decision loss to Brian Battle. Knockout win against Nicholas Dalby. And then a knockout loss against Gabriel Bonfim. So pretty much an unbettable fight for me personally, Weezy. It's a Kevin Holland fight. It's like, what can you expect out of this guy? I mean, listen to his interviews. It's like he literally says he doesn't care if he wins the fight or loses the fight. He says he never wants to be champion. And you can kind of see like he's kind of dumb, like very dumb. I'll never forget the Stephen Thompson fight where he literally got on top of Stephen Thompson and he literally let him up. It's like he helped up Stephen Thompson. I was like, what are you doing, Kevin Holland? And the last straw for me, Weezy, was the Daniel Rodriguez fight. That was the last straw. There have been plenty of straws, but that was the last one. How are you losing to 40-year-old Daniel Rodriguez? How? And D-Rod almost finished him multiple times. You know, and in round 2, he dropped him multiple times. And then in round 3, Colin actually had a chance to win the fight. And instead of, landing a couple follow-up punches and finishing the fight, he did these horrible jump knees that weren't even close and ended up on bottom at the end of the fight. It was just such a bad look. I can't ever trust Kevin Holland. With that said, though, I feel like Randy Brown will be the minute winner. I mean, if you're losing minutes in the striking to 40-year-old D-Rod and Mike Malott, I think Randy Brown's going to outstrike you at distance. But Kevin Holland, I'd still say, has the better durability. Randy Brown's been knocked out a bunch of times in the UFC. We've seen him club and sub. So I think it's either Randy Brown by decision or Kevin Holland eventually finds that finish. But I don't think I'm going to be betting on this fight, Weezy. What are your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, an interesting stat for this fight is that, Randy Brown, a slightly above average ROI at 4%. Holland, a slightly below average ROI at 11%. And that's not surprising. We know what a dumbass he fights like sometimes and how easy it is to come up with, instances of when Kevin has fought in less than, optimal ways for the fighters that are or for the bettors that are trying to back him. But Randy Brown's slight favorite here, right? Brady, minus 130, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. As a favorite, you could see it right here. I'll highlight it on the sheet. Randy Brown at the UFC level, 12 wins and 1 loss as a favorite with an average betting line of minus 207 and an ROI of 38%. So Randy's been a reliable guy to back when the markets feel like that he's got a good chance to win. Really rough performance in the Gabriel Bonfim fight where Gabriel, I think a lot of people thought like, hey, in order for Gabriel to win this fight, he's going to have to take Randy Brown down and use his grappling advantage and try to find a submission on the mat. But he ran through him on the feet. And to me, that was a little bit concerning for a 35-year-old Randy Brown who's got 21 fights at the UFC level. Are we getting to that point where maybe he starts to see the little bit of a downturn? Because getting outstruck by Bonfim, not the best look. But Holland, he's lost, I think, 4 out of his last 6 fights. And his wins came against an ancient Gunnar Nelson who hasn't fought in like 2 years at that point. And then Vicente Luque, and he loses to Daniel Rodriguez. He gets immediately submitted by Rainier de Ritter. He pops a rib against Dolidze. You know, he goes out there and he loses against Mike Malott in a pretty bizarre fight. What was up with the Malott fight? Like, wasn't there like a bad foul or
You got kicked in the balls.
Was it Holland who got kicked in the sack numerous times? And it was in Canada, so they let it go on?
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, that was a bizarre one, you know, so that wasn't his fault, Kevin. But I just think that Kevin's fought the better brand of competition. I think he's got a little bit higher of a ceiling. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is better than Randy Brown's. It's just hard to back him because it's obviously hard to back him. I mean, he's pulled so many goddamn stunts, Brady. And sometimes it just looks like he doesn't care. Like you said, like he could care less. He's showing up for a check. He knows that they'll give him 4 fights every year, and as long as he keeps winning 1 or 2 of them, he'll keep getting re-signed and he'll keep making 6 figures to show up and fight a few times a year. So it's a tricky one to break down, though. But I kind of feel like Randy Brown's bringing a little more momentum into this fight, even though he's coming off that loss against Bonfim. He had a great performance against Nicholas Dalby, finishing him. He had a really good performance against Brian Battle, but Battle weighed in like 6 pounds heavy and just held him against the cage. And for some reason, they gave him that split decision. And he's destroyed some old fighters. You know, he's going out there and beating Elizu Zaleski dos Santos, Nicholas Dalby, Muslim Salikov, who I saw a picture of him at my yaya's wedding back in 1933. I swear to God I did. So, yeah, this is, I don't know, man. Like, I think I just kind of long-windedly said the same shit that you said in about 10 seconds, which is don't bet on this fight. It's tricky.
It's a Kevin Holland fight, which means it's unbettable. Unbettable fight.
Agreed.
Randy Brown opened up -110, currently -130. Kevin Holland opened up -110, currently +110. The over-under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 -150. The under 2.5 at +130. I'd be shocked if I put any money on this fight here. Kevin Holland is a lesson in wasted talent. Yeah, he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. Holland has 10 finishes in the UFC. Yeah, he's a good finisher. Rude boy decision probably, but I don't think I'm betting it. I will not be betting this fight either. Holland seems to always win after 2 losses in a row. I bet everything on him. No, can't be doing that. Brown is a guy who struggled to break the top 15. Gotta bet Holland. You don't got to, but if you want to bet Holland, you can. Just be prepared to scream angry at your TV. I'll never forget the D-Rod fight. Holland has all the talent in the world, but he doesn't have the hunger. He doesn't, and he said it himself plenty of times. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the next fight. We have Mateusz Gamrot going against Esteban Ribovics. We got Mateusz Gamrot, 35 years old, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. Ribovics, 29 years old, 5'10" with a 69-inch reach. Ribovics 6 years younger, same height. Gamrot with a 1-inch reach reach advantage. Gamrot is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knocked out Rafael Fiziev. Decision win against Rafael dos Anjos. Decision loss to Dan Hooker. Decision win against Ludovic Klein, and then a submission loss to Charles Oliveira. As far as Esteban Ribovics, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Camilla Kirk. Knockout win against Terrence McKinney. Decision win against Daniel Zellhuber. Decision loss to Nasrat Hakparast, and a decision win against Elvis Brenner. We said this is the definition of a striker versus grappler matchup. Ribovics is going to want to keep this standing, and Gamrot's going to try to hump his leg for 15 minutes. What are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, big step up in competition for Esteban Ribovics, going from guys like Camuela Kirk, Terrence McKinney, Daniel Zellhuber, Nasrat Hakparast, and Elvis Brenner, going to a guy like Gamrot, whose last 5 fights are Rafael Fiziev, Rafael dos Anjos, Dan Hooker, Ludovic Klein, and Charles Oliveira. So Mateusz Gamrot, in my strength of schedule rankings, ranked number 7 out of 96 in the division, while Esteban Ribovics ranked 54th out of 96. So massive step up in competition for Ribovics here. So and that's something that we saw Chris Duncan do last week and look lost out there against Renato Moicano. So when you see those big steps up in competition, it's something that you don't necessarily want to ignore. But I did find a way to play this fight because I do think that Gamrot, when you watch that Ludovic Klein fight, you understand that this guy, if you don't have the best takedown defense or get up game, he absolutely has the ability to just go out there and blanket you in all 3 rounds and win a dominant decision. Is he going to go out there and submit a lot of guys? Not like Jeremy Stevens types. Yeah, but better fighters like Ribovics, who's, on the right side of 30, who's 4-2 in the UFC, and who looks to be making pretty big improvements between fights. I think it's going to be difficult to submit him. And we know that Ribovics likes to use that Kimura, likes to use that to try to get back to his feet or find sweeps when his opponents take him down. So it's not going to be easy for Gamrot to take this dude down, hold him down, and score points. Because as soon as he starts trying to throw ground and pound, Ribovics is going to be creating space and potentially looking to lock up one of those arms to find a sweep or a stand-up. So, and we can count on Esteban Ribovics to do a lot of work at distance striking range. Mateusz Gamrot throws 8.32 distance strike attempts per minute. Esteban Ribovics throws 23.35 distance strike attempts per minute. So obviously that's almost 3 times as much offensive output from Ribovics. And even though his opponents have attempted almost 10 takedowns per 15 minutes against Ribovics, he still has 70% takedown defense, and he's only allowed 20% control time to his opponents. So for somebody who's spending over 75% of his UFC octagon time at distance striking range, I think that this could be the kind of fight where Gamrot might win 50% of the cage time with top time and takedowns, but the 50% of the cage time that Ribovics might win at distance striking range is probably where the majority of the damage is going to be done. So I think you can back Ribovics. I think you can back the fact that Ribovics is easily the more powerful striker and that Gamrot's easily the less durable guy while this is on the feet. How about a finish-only prop for Esteban Ribovics? He's going to be very difficult to finish, and we know that he's got a big power advantage and a big durability advantage and a big offensive output advantage in this fight. So instead of playing Ribovics at plus money at like plus 140 on the money line, I kind of like playing him, laying a little bit of juice at minus 150 on the finish-only prop, knowing that Gamrot really doesn't have a lot of finish upside at this level. He's also 35 years old and starting to be on the back 9 of his career, as well as you start worrying about the durability of Gamrot as he's been knocked down 5 different times in the UFC. And I think once even by Rafael Dos Anjos, who's like 62 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I agree on the finish only. It's getting steam, though. It's minus 175. So, but would you be
that at minus 140 earlier today? So
it's gonna lose now. Gamrot's gonna finish him now.
He's gonna starch him and just leave him dead like Macy Barber. Watch.
But you wouldn't be shocked if there was Ribovics won like a damage-based decision like the Turner fight should have been. Like that.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, I kind of feel like a couple of the decisions that Gamrot's won, he's been very lucky to win because he's usually not the one doing more damage.
Yeah, he doesn't do any damage. So one guy will be doing damage here, and that's Ribovics. So yeah, we'll see where this line goes. Gamrot opened up minus 220, currently minus 180. Ribovics opened up plus 185, currently plus 155. I think there's a couple paths here for Ribovics for sure.
Yeah, Ribovics' decision at plus 300 is cheeky, my friend.
I could see it. I could certainly see it. In fights, these days are getting scored based off of damage. And that's one guy is gonna hump his leg, and one guy will try to fight. So,
and maybe Gamrot gets the talk backstage, Brady, the dreaded talk. Poor Ricky Simon, poor Carl Williams, poor all these guys that went out there. Poor Melissa Mullins. I mean, who knows who got the talk?
I know,
but it's happened a number of times recently, so this could be another one. We'll see.
Votes and hoes. Shout out Michelle Pereira.
Yeah.
Ribovics is super overrated. Gamrot wins easy. Ribovics for her pleasure. Oh boy. Gamrot easy money. I don't know, man. Gamrot falling this bad. Yeah, a little bit. Gamrot humps his leg for 50 minutes, taken by decision. I do think he's going to get a ton of takedowns. Ribovics takedown defense has gotten a little bit better, but it's still very bad.
Yeah.
But Gamrot can't really control anybody, and Ribovics has a really good get-up game. So Gamrot by milking. Free Zellhuber. What? Free Hood Wolf? Why? Why are we freeing Daniel Zell? We're not freeing Daniel Zellhuber ever. Never. Polish Power. Okay.
Yes.
Gamrot to win by leg hump and to get cut right after winning. Oh, gosh. Ribovics throws lightning bolts. Love watching him fight. Me too. He's fun to watch. One of these guys is pretty fun to watch. Does Ribovics use front chokes? No, but he uses Kimuras. He's got a ton of Kimuras on his record, but he's not going to Kimura Gamrot. Ribovics is 1,000% pillow fisted though. Is he? Ask Terrence McKinney if he's pillow fisted.
Yeah, Terrence McKinney.
Has McKinney woken up yet? With that said, though, I have lost so much money on Ribovics finish props. I don't know how he didn't finish Camilla Kirk, and I had the 2-3 KO against Hack Brass too. That was brutal because he almost got him. But maybe this is the time. We'll see. Marcus liking Gamrot in the spot. Poor Ricky Simone. poor Ricky Simone. Hi, I liking Gamer. Gamrot has finished upside with the sub. He has just enough striking to get on the entries, and he'll have Ribovics compromising the grappling. Money is too close. Ribovics should be plus 200. Gamrot for the win. There we go. Front chokes, best beat Gamrot. Yeah, I don't think Ribovics has many front chokes. He has a lot of Kimuras, though. Not pillow feet. You got that right. All right, let us move on to the next fight. It is going to be Cub Swanson going against Nate Landwehr. We got Cub Swanson, 42 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Nate Landwehr, 37 years old, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. Landwehr 5 years younger, 1-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. Cub Swanson is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Darren Elkins. Knockout loss to Jonathan Martinez. Decision win against Hakeem Dawadu. Decision loss to Andre Feely, and then a knockout win against Billy Quarantillo his last fight out. As far as Nate Landwehr, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Submission win against Austin Lingo. Decision loss to Dan Ige. Knockout win against Jamal Emmers. Knockout loss to Doo Ho Choi and Morgan Charrier. So this is a weird one, Weezy, because Cub Swanson's a 42.5-year-old featherweight. You know, typically we don't see guys in the flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight divisions coming out here and having much success at 40-plus years old. I mean, Cub Swanson has to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest, on the current roster at 42.5 years old. I believe this is confirmed to be his retirement fight here. But Cub Swanson hasn't fought in a while. Like, when's the last time Swanson was in there, Weezy? What's the layoff on this one? About a year and a half?
1 year and 4 months. He last fought in December of 2024, which meant he wasn't even in my database. I had to add him to my database. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't like that. I don't like that. But I also don't like the fact that I think Nate Landwehr, who's 5 years younger, I think he's starting to decline a little bit. I think his durability is starting to go a little bit. This is a mess. I don't want to bet on a 42.5-year-old featherweight. And I don't really want to bet on Nate Landwehr, who seems to be losing that durability that he once had. So I think this is going to be one of the best fights. I think it's going to be the second best fight on the card, Weezy, right behind the main event. I think these guys are going to go at it. This has a complete war written all over it. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this one. What are your thoughts on this one? I lean Landwehr because he's 5 years younger. I think he has some sneaky grappling upside, but he also looks to be approaching the washed category, even though he's 5 years younger here. What are your thoughts, Weezy?
Yeah, I mean, like the loss to Dan Ige in 2023, that was rough just because, like, you know, it looks like Ige's shot now. You know, after losing to Patricio Pitbull and then getting finished by Costa, where he'd never been finished in his career. And then the losses to Doo Ho Choi and Morgan Charrier. At least those are younger fighters, you know, like in a different career trajectory than what Nate Landwehr is. But obviously Swanson's 42 years old. So I mean, if you made me bet on this fight, I probably wouldn't even choose a side. And I'd just say that, you know, it's probably going to be a banger. So maybe playing under, but it's hard to back a 42-year-old fighter, even though, you look at the recent performances, he knocks out Quarantillo. He has a very close split decision fight with Andre Fili as a plus 190 underdog. He cashes as a plus 234 underdog against Hakeem Dawodu. He easily beats Darren Elkins, just absolutely runs through him in round one. And he's only minus 150 in that fight. So you look at a guy like Swanson, who's just out there outperforming market expectations on the regular, with the exception of the Jonathan Martinez fight, where he, had problems with the leg kicks, which is something we saw before that in the Daniel Pineda fight as well for Cub Swanson. But Landwehr, he's going out there and losing when he's an underdog. He's going out there and losing by knockout as a slight favorite to Duo Choi. He did win over Jamal Emmers, but man, I feel like if you ran that Emmers fight back 100 times, Emmers would win it a lot more times than he lost it. So that one, was a little bit weird for me. But these guys, I just think the Cubs fighting at a higher level right now. Despite the fact that he's the older fighter, I just want to see a guy that's going out there and winning fights and looking like he's outperforming market expectations. And the only one of the two that's doing that is Cub. So I would rather back him. And if I look at the stats, Cub Swanson with a positive 0.9 distance strike differential compared to -1 for Landwehr. And, Cub just doesn't yield a lot of grappling success, or doesn't allow a lot of grappling success to his opponents. So, yeah, I think it's Cub. I like him a little bit more than I like Nate here, but both these guys are live to win this fight.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody can have any faith in either one of these guys, to be honest. But Nate Landwehr opened up minus 200. He's currently minus 119. Cub Swanson opened up plus 170, currently minus 101. Looks like this line even might flip as well. So we'll see. I will not be touching a money line. Maybe a total. Over-under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 minus 115. The under 2.5 is minus 105. Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be one of the best, if not the best fight on the card outside of the Yuri fight, of course. It's going to be a fun one. Nate the Train all day. Oh, gosh. He has no chin. Can't say Nate the Train. He has no chin, Ryan. Ribo is very dangerous, but hasn't KO'd anyone in the UFC besides T-Rex. I think Gamrot should be defensively sound enough. We shall see. Give me the Cub by KO. Love you, Nate the Train, though. Yeah, Cub KO super live for sure. He knocked out Quarantillo. It's pretty tough. Her Baby Shark's boxing, man. Dump her, and now dating Verna Jandaroba. What?
Yeah, it's not a lateral move. It's a move up.
All aboard, Nate the Train. All aboard. All aboard. He called it Brady. Landwehr's durability is toast, and durability is important. But Cubs also been finished like 10 times his own right, so I don't think either guy has the best durability. Nate the Train, no regrets. No regrets. Landwehr needs to come out with the mixtape with Paul Wall called Boats and Hoes. Boats and Hoes. Nate the Train in the UFC. It's going to be a fun fight. Cub should smoke him, though, but Cub is too old. I think he's one of the oldest fighters in the UFC. Maybe second oldest. Like, how old is Jan Blachowicz? I think Blachowicz might be younger.
He's right around 42, dude. Yeah.
I think Cub might slightly be older than Jan Blachowicz. Crazy. We got Yes Freak in the building. Scott's Arizona Tremble team has arrived. There we go. What's up, Yes Freak? I need a Thomas the Train shirt. Go get it. Cub hurts Nate early in the third and empties the tank and dies on his shield. Oh, boy. Chugga. Let's go. It should be a fun fight. All right. Let's move on to the next fight. Before we do so, I want to shout out the sponsors once again. We got to shout out Big Brain, Discord. Check it out. The link is in the description. Shout out Big Steve for sponsoring the show, and shout out Underdog for being the other sponsor of the show. Use that code DFSBTN. Get $50 bonus funds when you play your first $5 lineup. If you guys have not already, be sure to smash the like button. Get those likes up. We do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to tune into the Fight Companion on Saturday. We're looking to make it the biggest and baddest Fight Companion yet. All right, Weezy, let's move on to the main card. It is going to be Patricio Pitbull going against Aaron Pico. We got Pitbull, 38 years old, 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. Pico, 29 years old, 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. We got Pico 9 years younger, 3-inch height advantage, and a 6-inch reach advantage. Pitbull is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. made his debut against Yair Rodriguez, lost that fight by decision, and then beat Dan Ige by decision in his last fight out. As far as Aaron Pico, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, made his debut against Lerone Murphy, lost that fight by knockout. So I dug really deep into this one, and I was so impressed with Aaron Pico. I think this guy has so much potential. Like I like everything about him besides one thing we'll talk about, but his wrestling is extremely high level. His calf kicks are extremely powerful. He puts 120% into all of his punches. He digs to the body. If he takes you down, he's going to pound your head through the canvas. He's just very explosive wherever the fight goes. The 2 knocks on Pico is the durability. He's been finished in all of his losses. He's been knocked out multiple times. The chin is a major concern. And the other concern is he goes full you-know-what in a lot of his fights, and he just doesn't have the chin to fight that type of style. He's going against Pitbull, who I really like to try to fade. He's getting up there in age. I don't think Pitbull has the best durability. Got hurt badly in the Ige fight. Ige just showed zero urgency in the 3rd round. He got hurt badly in the Rodriguez fight. He's been getting hurt in a lot of these fights recently. I don't think he has the best cardio these days. I don't think he's going to out-wrestle Pico here. So I feel like on paper, Weezy, it's a phenomenal matchup for Pico. But, and there's one big but, it's that durability. And Pitbull hits hard. Pitbull almost knocked out Dan Ige. Pitbull was almost the first person to knock out Dan Ige. So that's the one worry, and that's why I will not be laying -3, I think -350 now on Aaron Pico. Weezy, Aaron Pico is the biggest favorite on the entire card, and that's scary because this guy's durability is extremely suspect. But outside of the durability, everything about Aaron Pico is freaking awesome. It's just the durability is kind of important when we're talking about MMA. So, Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, like if you ever saw The Wizard of Oz, there's a song, If I Only Had a Brain, and it's, for Pico, you replace brain with chin. If you only had a chin, man, because this guy's wrestling is phenomenal, his aggression is phenomenal, his output is phenomenal. He's got power on the feet, like you said, great calf kicks, the wrestling to be able to control his opponents if he's at a striking disadvantage, and I just love the output. The guy's always working. He's always pressuring, coming forward, throwing something, doing something. It's just that style, if you're going to fight with that style, you have to be durable. It reminds me of Kennedy and Zechiku. Like that's kind of like how he fights. He just fights. He goes all offense. He doesn't care about defense, but his chin isn't good enough to fight with that kind of a style. He needs to kind of stay behind his jab and use his length and use his attributes because he needs to protect that chin. And it's the same thing with Pico. And the question is, do you have to worry about Pico getting knocked out by Patricio Freire? And I don't know. I mean, I think you got to worry about him getting knocked out by anybody at this point, because he's going to put himself into situations where he is going to be defensively irresponsible and where he is going to leave his chin out there to potentially get hurt. So it's really hard to lay -300 on Pico just because of, that you could be winning that fight. Remember when we were watching the Lerone Murphy fight? We were there.
Yeah.
We were talking about man, Pico looks incredible.
He was beating his ass, dude. He was beating Murphy's ass.
He was all over him, dude. He took him down a couple of times. He controlled him up against the fence. He was landing ground and pound every time he got him down. He was walking him down on the feet. And then he walked into a spinning back elbow, and it's made a horrible sound that echoed throughout the United Center. So, I mean, can Patricio Freire do that to him? I think Pico is going to win, but I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a shot on Freire by KO here. This is a guy who's been KO'd so many times, and that Patricio, when he does plant his feet and go, he does swing with power. So he could catch Aaron, and Aaron's probably going to give him opportunities to catch him because of how aggressive he is. So maybe a small shot. Freire by KO is priced at +650 on Bet Online.
It got hit. Dang.
Oh, it was better than that.
Yeah, it's +800.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, against somebody like Pico who's been knocked out 4 times, you can see why people got on it and moved it to +650. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this one gets to the second half of the fight, even, because I could see either one of these guys finding a finish. I think it's going to be a violent fight, but I think both guys have finish upside here. So potentially free air KO for a big plus 800 number on one of the domestics might be worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, because Pitbull KO is actually down to plus 600 now, so money is coming in on it, rightfully so. Why not? I mean, that's how he wins this fight is him knocking out Pico.
He's not going to win the minutes because Pico does 3 times as much as Pitbull does.
5 times as much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Look at the numbers. I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see. Chris will be. Let's go, Chris. We'll see you there, man.
Yeah.
What in the Bellator is going on here? I think it's an incredible fight. A couple people I've heard say this fight's going to suck. Like, this fight's not going to suck at all. I don't think any Aaron Pico fight has ever sucked. There's been some Pitbull fights that have sucked, but anytime. Yeah, I was there live too. I mean, that was bad. But Aaron Pico fights just don't suck. He's kill or be killed. He's a glass cannon. Pitbull or Pico fights do not suck. Fight end by KO. I don't mind that. Plus money. I don't mind that. I own and operate a small painting company. This time of year, we're really busy. I already told all my employees you're off this Saturday. There you go. Watch the fights. Enjoy it, Chris. Can't bet Pico as that big of a favorite. Yeah, it's minus 350. It's just you just can't. You just can't. I just wish these odds were closer. Pico at minus 150 would be cash, but minus 300 just makes you want to bet Pitbull KO. Yeah, Pitbull KO is a pretty big number. He's going to jump face first into the fire every time. Yep. Does loser get cut from the UFC? I doubt that. We got Dan from the battle saying Pitbull KO'd Michael Chandler in the first round. That's true. That is true. Pitbull has power. I mean, look what he almost finished Dan Ige. I remember I had a bet on Dan Ige. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, Dan. That's pathetic, Dan Ige. And Pitbull almost got him out of there in the second round. He got an Ige kind of running for his life. So you never know.
Dude, I was at a party, Brady, outdoors, couldn't watch the fights, and I called you up to find out how Ige was doing, and you told me, he says to me, he goes, yeah, right now Pitbull is absolutely destroying him and knocking him all over the cage. I'm like, will you quit trolling me, dude? Seriously, what's happening? He goes, I'm not trolling it. And I could hear in his voice because he sounded awful. Brady sounded awful. He was just, like he wasn't taking any pleasure in sharing this news with me. So yeah, that was a big eye opener in my opinion.
Yeah, I did sound off. I wonder if let me see, that Ige fight.
That was the one where Kevin Holland lost to Daniel Rodriguez. That was that night.
Yep. Well, the Holland fight came after the Ige fight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was. I had so much on Holland. Holland inside the distance, everything, and that was brutal. That was brutal. What is Pico round 1? Let's take a look. Pico to win in round 1 is plus 400. Not bad. He'll try to go for it. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be Azamat. Are we already at Azamat Mzakonov?
Well, I think that just got moved to the co-main event, but it's not the co-main event on my sheets.
All good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Azamat Mzakonov going against Paulo Costa. We got Mzakonov, 36 years old, 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. Paulo Costa, 34 years old, 6'1" with a 72-inch reach. Costa 2 years younger. Costa with a 3-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach advantage. Mzakonov 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Devin Clark. Decision win against Dustin Jacoby. Knockout wins against Alonzo Menafield, Brenton Ibero, and Alexander Rakic. As far as Paulo Costa, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Decision loss to Marvin Vettori. Decision win against Luke Rockhold. Decision loss to Robert Whitaker. Decision loss to Sean Strickland. And a decision win against Roman Kopylov. Mzakonov is one of these guys where I'm just like, I can't pick against him anymore. I've done it a couple times, and he just makes me look silly. This guy says he's 36. This guy's like 60 years old. He's not a 36-year-old man. This guy's like 60 or 70 years old, but he moves like he's 26. I mean, this guy's extremely quick for the division, and they call him the professional. And I think that's a perfect nickname because he does everything so good. He's so defensively sound. He's so accurate. His hands are very quick, and he has a ton of power. Mzakonov's pretty dang good. I was definitely wrong about Mzakonov. I thought, maybe he didn't have the best cardio, and maybe I still think that a little bit, but he can kind of fight through fatigue as the fight goes on, which is good to see. His power carries late, rounds 1, 2, and 3, which is great to see. And I also, kind of knocked his volume in the past, but his volume as of late is picking up. And he's also one of these guys that can be a little bit low volume, but the threat coming his opponent's way makes his opponents a little bit low volume as well. So a lot to like about Azamat Mzakonov. And then you have Paulo Costa, who I don't know, man. I mean, Paulo Costa's been there for a while. He's fought some very good guys. Maybe Paulo Costa can make this competitive, but I kind of lean Mzakonov here, man. I don't know if he's going to knock out Paulo Costa because Paulo Costa is next level durable, but I can see him hurting Paulo potentially. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this one? Mzakonov, I think, around minus 175-ish.
Yeah, I was looking through Paulo Costa's career to be like, maybe the reason he hasn't gotten knocked out because maybe he didn't fight the biggest hitters, but no, that's not true, man. I mean, like, he fought Adesanya, he fought Yoel Romero, Johnny Hendricks, guys like Luke Rockhold, Whitaker, Kopylov. These guys can end you. They can put you out. And, Costa is a guy who's a high-volume striker who, because he's a high-volume striker, he absorbs a lot of damage too. But I still feel like Mzakonov can just put this guy's lights out with one shot. That's just the kind of striker he is, dude. We asked, during the Brenson Ribeiro fight, can he keep getting away with this? Yes, he can. We asked it again. Can he keep getting away with this shit in the Alexander Rakic fight? Yes, he can. The guy is deceptively fast. He's accurate. He's powerful. And he has the ability to find that shot every damn time, it seems like. He's knocked out 5 of his 6 UFC wins, The only decision was against Dustin Jacoby, who's very high-level kickboxer. But let's face it, man, that fight wasn't close until the end of the 3rd round when Jacoby finally found some success. I think he got it, and then he shot a takedown once he hurt him. So I don't know, man. When you look at the last 5 opponents from Mzakonov, Rakic, Brenson Ribeiro, who's not good. I mean, Menafield, Dustin Jacoby, Devin Clark, Tafon and Chukwi. Now he's fighting a guy in Paulo Costa who is ranked 10th out of 84 in my strength to schedule rankings, and that's in the middleweight division. Azamat is ranked pretty low in the division, but that's because there's a problem with my rankings. If a fighter has no wins or no losses, they're gonna show lower in the division than they should be because of the lack of experience or the lack of data. So I consider this a step up from Mzakonov, but I think he's gonna knock him out, dude.
Yeah, we could see it. We could see it for sure. I mean, this guy has so much freaking power, and that's a good point. Costa absorbs a lot, so. Yeah, I wonder what the knockout prop is for Mzakonov, like plus 190.
Plus 180, 190, something like that.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. But
he's just going to keep doing it, Brady.
He's not going to stop.
Yeah.
He's not all the way to the top. I don't care if he's 60 years old. He's still going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how old he is, but it's not 36.
No. That's not a 36-year-old man. Not at all. All right, Mzakonov opened up minus 155. I could have got down with that. Minus 155, absolutely. Currently minus 200, though. Paulo Costa opened up plus 135, currently plus 170. So some money coming in on Azamat Mzakonov, the professional. That's such a great nickname. I like that nickname quite a bit because it fits him. So he's a professional, Weezy. Always making weight, always doing the right things in the gym and in the cage. He's a professional.
He goes out there and he goes about his business like a professional goes about it. Not like an amateur, not like a fly-by-night, not somebody out there half-assing things. He uses his whole ass. He uses his whole ass, and he uses it to draw power to knock out his opponents.
This is a good question. Do you think Mzakonov would sleep Jury? He could. He could sleep Jury.
Absolutely.
Because Jury does not defend punches, so
he would crack Jury so hard so many times. Now, whether he would actually walk through it, that's a different opinion, because we don't know. Yeah. Jury's so durable. If you're not Alex Pereira, he walks through everybody else's best shots. So, but Azamat would be planting huge shots right on his chin for sure.
Yeah, that would be an incredible fight, that Mzakonov Yuri. Hopefully, maybe we see that in the future. We got family packs finally caught alive. Let's go. Good to see you in here. The lack of defensive responsibility for Costa has to be a concern, though. It absolutely against a guy like Mzakonov who hits like a truck, for sure. I don't even know if Mzakonov gassed against Jacoby. He said he hurt his arm so bad he couldn't throw. Oh gosh, I didn't know that. Apparently got hurt against Jacoby. He has a grandson that's 36. He does. We got Luca Soli in the building. Good to see you, Luca Soli. Pound that like button like I'm gonna pound 138 MMA this weekend. What does he mean by that?
So he means that so there's a Sean Bitter put together a rankings, a 64-man contest in honor of the tournament, the NCAA tournament. And so I got eliminated this week, and I was the number 1 seed, and I got eliminated by the number 64 seed.
What?
Well, I mean, the rankings didn't mean anything. We weren't actually ranked, you know, but it was just I happened to be number 1, and but Keith Schillen from Sherdog put it on me. He beat me in the predictions, beat me in the contest, so I'm eliminated. But Luca Soli still in there, and he's going to be playing up against our guy 138 MMA, so that should be a pretty good contest next week.
Okay, let's go Lou. Let's go 138. I'm a big fan of both guys, so I haven't really seen Lou on X much lately. What's been going on? He hasn't really been retweeting much lately, so I don't know. Maybe he got suspended. You probably should get suspended.
Probably. It's about time, right?
About time he got suspended. So maybe that's why I haven't seen anything regarding Luca Soli. I don't know. All right. Let's move on though to the next fight. Oh God. We got Dominic Reyes going against Johnny Walker. We got Dominic Reyes, 36 years old, 6'4" with a 77-inch reach. Johnny Walker, 34 years old, 6'6" with an 82-inch reach. We got Johnny Walker 2 years younger, 2-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage. We got Dominic Reyes 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout loss to Ryan Spann. Knockout win against Dustin Jacoby, knockout win against Anthony Smith, knockout win against Nikita Krylov, and then a knockout loss against Carlos Ulberg. As far as Johnny Walker, he is 2-2 and 1 no contest. He had that decision win against Anthony Smith. I was there live, and I was smashing. I didn't have a TV there, so I was, I guess, smashing my phone in the audience. Like, how are you not finishing Anthony Smith? But anyway, he got a no contest against Ankalaev, got knocked out by Ankalaev, got knocked out by Uzdemir, and a big upset win against Zhang Mingyang by a second-round knockout. So, Weezy, how about an over in this one? How about an over with this in this one? We got 2 very durable guys, 2 very defensively sound guys. Dominic Reyes, chin of steel. Johnny Walker, chin of steel. Yeah. Both guys fight at a snail's pace. Why are we not smashing the over 1.5 rounds in this fight, Weezy?
Yeah, the over definitely the sharp side here. You know, you don't really see these guys finishing anybody or getting finished, really, for that matter. But wow, it's a trick. You know, like picking a winner in this fight is hard.
Oh, it's impossible.
It's so hard because I kind of personally, like, my thoughts is that Johnny Walker is the much better athlete, in much better shape. Like, he looks way more the part right now. Like, Reyes, his last couple of fights, including the Krylov fight, which he won, he looked absolutely stuck in the mud. He looked fat. He looked slow. The output wasn't there. He just didn't look very interested in either fight. And Nikita Krylov, for some reason, wasn't interested in wrestling, and he came out looking absolutely awful. And what does the Anthony Smith win mean? Not much. And I mean, he caught Dustin Jacoby. That's an impressive win to me. But he got knocked out by Ryan Spann.
Yeah, you can't ever live that down. But Walker's knockout losses are kind of worse. Yeah.
I mean, like the Jamal Hill one where it looked like he was shooting a jumper. That was awful. I mean,
oh God.
Yeah, and then Ozdemir, Ankalaev, you know, and he couldn't even finish Anthony Smith either. That was weird. So I don't know, man. It's really hard to back Johnny Walker. It's really hard to back Dominic Reyes here. And I mean, when I saw that under 1.5, I think I saw it at -140. I was sitting there going, you should absolutely smash that for 3 units. And I said, watch this coast to decision. I'm actually thinking about betting it because every damn time I think that there's a 0% chance that a fight is going to go to the scorecards. It goes to the goddamn scorecards. There's no good reason for it. It makes no sense at all. But I could see this one spending 12 minutes in the clinch. And yeah, I could. I could see Dominic Reyes staying behind a stiff jab for 15 minutes.
Stiff jab would knock out Walker, though.
I mean,
stiff jab would destroy Walker.
Dude, watch these guys take 50 flush shots on the chin apiece.
Oh
and it just go to decision. It's an absolute war. I don't know what it was, Brady, but like for the last, I know in 2025, I fell into every trap line that you could possibly fall into, juice to the tits unders that don't cash, money lines that you bet at minus 150 go to minus 300 and you lose, like literally both fixed fights. I had the money on the guy that lost. I had money on Isaac Dalgarian and I had money on Derek Minner. Like I will find the trap spots. And when I saw minus 160 for the under, I'm like, we just saw an under 1.5 close at minus 450 last week. Right? In the Yakayev fight. So like, how is this minus 140? It doesn't make any sense. Reyes has got no durability. Walker doesn't have any durability, and both guys got a ton of power. So really hard fight to pick a winner. And I mean, the under is a very obvious play to make. It's a kind of a square play to make, if we're being honest. But at the same time, if this did go over, it would be kind of hilarious.
Yeah, well, the under got smashed. I guess we should have probably bet it at like minus 145, but yeah, I don't know. I almost bet it too. Then I was like, but yeah, I'd be shocked if this fight went the distance. Unless it's like a gentleman's agreement, or if both guys like steak, maybe.
Hey man, I like steak a lot more than I like getting brutally knocked out.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that we could probably say the same about Reyes and Walker. So you never know, man.
Yeah, it's like both guys have the worst chins in the division. Both guys have like a sub 50 striking D. Both guys have unreal power. So yeah, we'll see. We shall see. And I don't think there's going to be any wrestling from either side either. So I think they're going to strike. So obviously, whoever gets hit clean first loses. Yeah, it's such a tough fight to pick. This is Reyes, and it's not even like, how can you be confident though? The high owl, how can he be confident? Like he could die. Both guys could die. Oh, this fight. Oh God. The minute you put that bet down, you're guaranteeing a sub 60-second KO. Oh,
and he's right about that. Like, it would be a horrible bet. Fight goes to decision. I mean, I'm not saying, like that it wouldn't necessarily catch, but it'd be a horrible bet. The only reason you're making that bet is to be a contrarian.
Yeah.
To be like, I smell something here. Something's rotten. I'm betting fight goes. It's not like, all right, here's the path, how this goes a full 15 minutes. No, it's not what I'm thinking.
Well, are either of these guys training at Extreme Couture? Oh, wait.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I saw Johnny Walker was actually doing some work at Extreme Couture.
That's right. He was sparring with Ngannou.
Oh God, Eric Nixick has cashed him some overs in his days. Those Extreme Couture guys, man. So they like steak over at Extreme Couture. That's for sure. Ultimate Contrarian overplay. Johnny by heel hook. I wish he would go for a heel hook in this fight.
That would be hilarious if we pulled that off.
Head pounded through the canvas. Maybe they tap in Walter. Tap in Walter Walker, and then he'll get a heel hook. Yes, I like that. I bet Reyes tries to wrestle. I think Reyes does have like a wrestling background, but has he ever tried to wrestle?
Neither one of these guys usually wrestles much at all.
Oh my gosh. I think he has one takedown his entire career, and it was against Yuri.
Dominic has 2 takedowns in his career. He's 2 of 7 in his career, and Walker's 2 of 4.
Yeah, he took down Jeremy Kimball.
29 fights, a total of 4 takedowns between the two of them.
Yeah. I have Walter Walker's brother all day. If Walter would sub in, maybe I'd I had bet the Walker side, but I don't think that they're allowing Valter to sub in here. And I think Valter's hurt, so it's gonna be Johnny out there, guys. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, actually money coming in on Dominic Reyes. I thought he was like minus 115, minus 120. He's now minus 130. Johnny Walker plus 110. The over under set at 1.5. The over 1.5 plus 165. The under 1.5 minus 190. We shall see. Johnny Walker sparred and got, that's scary. I saw a clip of Johnny Walker sparring. They said he was like a 19-year-old and Johnny Walker got knocked out cold. I don't know if it was a fake clip or what, but Johnny Walker got knocked out cold in sparring. I don't know. I don't know what's fake and what's not nowadays.
Yeah, and I mean, well, that was straight from the word of mouth of Johnny Walker, where he said, I got hit by an uppercut by Ngannou and it rocked me.
Why is he sparring with Ngannou?
That's a very good question,
That's so stupid.
But like, that's the kind of shit that, he would say, and then they're going to sit in the clinch for 15 minutes and fight goes to decision is going to cash. So, because that's what like when you hear shit like that, dude, he got knocked out in training by Ngannou. Reyes is coming in with an injury, and then watch it just coast,
Oh gosh, what a time to be alive. Yeah, you got rocked by Ngannou. What's going on? Reyes is definitely a side I actually knocked out Johnny Walker the other week. He probably got knocked out on the flight to Miami.
Those pressurized cabins, it could do it to anybody.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around with those pressurized cabins, and that it could get you. It could get you. I want to hear a story. Let's see if anybody signed up on Underdog. We haven't got a couple signups in like a week. I'm getting worried. Does anybody have friends or family? Yeah, no sign up. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll probably get some this Saturday for the Fight Companion.
I hope so.
And if you're watching on the replay, for the love of God, sign up. Help us out. We could see the first double knockout in UFC history, potentially. We could see it. Sure. All right, let's move on to the next fight. Very intriguing fight in the heavyweight division. We got Curtis Blaydes going against Josh Hokat. We got Curtis Blaydes, 35 years old, 6'4" with an 80-inch reach. Josh Hokat, 28 years old, 6'1" with a 73-inch reach. Hokat 7 years younger. Blaydes with a 3-inch height advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage. Blaydes is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Aspinall. Knockout loss against Pavlovich. Knockout win against Almeida. Knockout loss against Aspinall. And then a decision win against Rizvan, the Rizzler Kunaev. As far as Josh Hokat, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He had a TKO win on the Contender Series in the second round. He knocked out Max Jimenez, and then he knocked out Denzel Freeman. So, Weezy, this is probably the biggest step up in UFC history, going from Max Jimenez and Denzel Freeman to Curtis Blaydes, who's always been kind of like a top 5 heavyweight. Blaydes has kind of been one of those guys who was always one fight away from a title shot, but he ended up getting knocked out before then. With that said, though, I think Hokat is kind of live here, but this line's weird to me. You know what you would think with Blaydes fighting the much, much, much better competition by a mile. You would think Blaydes would be a bigger favorite. We got a very closely lined fighter, Weezy, and I find that interesting because Hokat, he looks like the goods, but he hasn't really proven anything. It's not hard to look like the goods against Freeman and Jimenez. So kind of a weird line, closely lined fight. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, so I don't think that they're giving Josh Hokat this step up in competition because he puts together fun poems on the mic after he wins his fights. I think that's a nice little bonus. It's good to have somebody with some personality in the division, so a little bit of swag. But I think that they realize that they've got a blue chip prospect here in Josh Hokat, and because of that, I think that they're just saying, you know what, screw it. We know that this guy's going to run through 75% of the division and just destroy him, break them all in half. Let's just throw him into the middle of it. And like they gave Rizvan Kunaev Curtis Blaydes in his debut. So obviously they're willing to use Curtis Blaydes as like this measuring stick to find out if somebody can be in the top 5 and potentially have some title aspirations in this division. Obviously, it's a huge step up in competition. My strength of schedule rankings have Curtis Blaydes ranked number 6 out of 48 fighters that I have in the division. And they have Josh Hokat ranked 45th out of 48. So obviously when you're fighting names like Max Jimenez and Denzel Freeman, it doesn't compare at all to Curtis Blades' last 5, where he's fighting Tom Aspinall twice, Sergey Pavlovich, Jailton Almeida, and Big Riz. So massive step up in competition. But Josh Hokat, I mean, this guy's a serious problem. There's an elite former champion heavyweight that Josh Hokat reminds me of. Can you guess who it is, Brady?
Who?
Cain Velasquez.
Okay.
So Cain Velasquez was an undersized heavyweight who had a really high level wrestling background and who fought at a blistering pace, right? He had great kickboxing, much better kickboxing than what we've seen from Hokat so far, and elite cardio. But we don't know if Hokat has good cardio yet, because we never see anybody really last more than 6 or 7 minutes with him. But I don't know if Hokat's striking is ever going to be as good as Cain's, and I don't know if his cardio is ever going to be as good as Cain's. But I'm also of the opinion that I don't think 80% of the division could last 5 minutes with this dude. That's what the problem is, because his numbers are ridiculous right now. And I know it's against Jimenez and Freeman, but Freeman's a good wrestler.
Oh,
he is, dude. He is. He's at the Olympic Training Center training with the Greco guys. He's also got a freestyle background. When you watch Freeman on the regional scene, when he beat Steven Asplund, he out-wrestled the shit out of Asplund and finished him in the second round. Something fucking Vitor Petrino couldn't do. Couldn't even come close to doing. Actually, Vitor Petrino couldn't even take him down. So I don't think that Denzel Freeman win is meaningless, Brady. I think that what Hokat did to that guy, is breaking him in 5 minutes, was incredibly impressive. I don't know if we'll be able to fight at that pace at all times, but this guy's athleticism is as good as anybody's in the division right now. His wrestling is as good as anybody's in the division right now. And his ability to fight at a pace that is unsustainable for most of the division is as good as anybody right now. So I don't think I'm going to be getting involved in this fight, though, because as big of a fan as I am of Hokat and as much upside I think he has as a fighter, I think it's irresponsible to back him when he's not ranked number 45 out of 48 in the division of strength and schedule, and Curtis Blades is ranked number 6. So I think that this is a huge step up in competition, and we're going to be able to find out a lot about how big of a ceiling, how high of a ceiling Josh Hokat has in the heavyweight division, because he's fighting one of the best in the division this time, just 2 fights removed from fighting guys like Max Jimenez and Denzel Freeman.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a very weird one. It's a very close line. Curtis Blades opened up minus 160, currently minus 135. Hokat opened up plus 140, currently plus 115. We're going to find out a lot about Josh Hokat for sure. Over under set at 1.5 rounds. The over 1.5 minus 165. The under 1.5 is plus 145. I don't think I'll get involved at all in this fight, money line or total.
Me neither. I don't think so, dude. Maybe an under.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think Hokat's ever seen a third round, has he?
I mean, his average fight time is 4.5 minutes over 8 professional fights, and at the UFC, it's only 3 minutes. So,
yeah, he's never even been. He's been to 1/3 round, yeah, in his MMA debut.
Okay, yeah, but I just think that this guy's a phenomenal athlete. He's a Division I All-American in wrestling. And he's a Division I All-American in terms of being a running back at Fresno State, over 1,000 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns, and he played on the San Francisco 49ers practice squad. So this guy's got the kind of athleticism that 95% of the people in the light heavyweight division and the heavyweight division would dream of having, in addition to the wrestling background and the blistering pace that he fights at. So I cannot wait to see how he handles this massive step up in competition against a stud in Curtis Blades.
Yeah, I kind of don't like the matchmaking. Like you're giving him the top 5 heavyweight in the world. Why can't you give him Taliesin Teixeira? Why can't you give him Mick Parkin? Why can't you give him the Marcin Tybura test? Marcin Tybura is ranked 11. Why can't you give him Ugh, like even how is Tyrell Fortune a top 10 heavyweight? Like, what's going on with the heavyweight division, Wheezy? What is this?
Well, but just because he beat a top 10 heavyweight in Marcin Tybura,
God
that's
help us.
why. That's where we're at. I mean, Tai Tuivasa was
Oh
ranked just a minute ago, and he had like
God.
6 straight losses. So, I think that this is a situation where the UFC brass knows how bad this division is, and they know that Hokat beats all these guys except for the top 5, so they're just going to throw them in there.
Yeah, I mean the top 5 heavyweights are great. I mean you got Aspinall, Cyril Gahn, Volkov, Pavlovich, Waldo, Blade, all 5 or 6 of those are respectable guys. Then it's like Derek Lewis, Ante D'Elia, who got out jabbed by a vampire his last fight, Sergey Pavlovich. Like, oh God, God help us all. So we'll see. The heavyweight needs something new, and it looks to be Josh Hokat, but this is a massive step up. Big step up. I think it's over for the Hokat train. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Hokat has a middleweight frame. Curtis Blades will be the bigger guy, that's for sure. Curtis is going to jab him up all day before he lands the right hand on the 1-2. Yeah, Blades' striking is actually extremely underrated. It's just he doesn't really have much of a chin. Hokat definitely
fight IQ. Don't forget about the fight IQ. Not wrestling Sergey Pavlovich. Great fucking idea, right?
Curtis Blades fell in love with the box. He doesn't wrestle
fell
anymore.
in love with the box, and I don't think it's a good thing. But I don't think that really matters here because I think he's just going to want to keep this fight standing against Hokat.
Yeah. Hokat definitely doesn't look like the goods. He looks like the goods to me, but it's kind of hard to tell because he's fighting Jimenez and Freeman.
Yeah, the level of competition, obviously, is massive difference.
Hogan only looks good after 13 beers and a handle of vodka. What? I thought he looked pretty good against Jimenez and Freeman. I was driving when you were talking about Pico, but I seriously questioned Pico's fight IQ. He got caught because he threw the exact same takedown attempt each time, and he got set up. Yeah, he was just very reckless in that Murphy fight. If Blades doesn't win, he should retire. I don't know about that.
No way, dude. Blades is one of the best heavyweights walking the face of the planet right now.
Blades had a chin, he'd be champion for a long time. A long time ago, he'd have been a champion if he had a chin, but he doesn't.
And these people that are sleeping on Hokat, they're making a huge mistake, Brady.
I don't think people are sleeping on him. He's only plus 115. I wish they were sleeping on him.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, I think that people are thinking that this guy's beating bums and stuff like that. He's destroying bums.
He is.
He's running through these guys in just brutal fashion. So yeah, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing out there to the level of competition that he's fighting. So I mean, this is a great test for him.
It is. Give him the Mario Pinto test. Didn't Mario Pinto almost lose to that mall security guard?
Yeah, Franco.
Brady should commentate for the UFC. His voice is like lavenders if they had babies with sunflower. I do commentary, not for the UFC though, on the channel with Uncle Weezy on Saturdays. So check us out, Icky. All right, let's wait. How many likes to call Hogan to jump to his face? 300.
And then the picture of me in the hospital bed in the full body cast with the thumbs up, that'll get like 20,000 likes on Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, I am not calling any of these heavyweights to jump to their face. There's no chance of that happening.
No, don't do that. All right, Weez, let's get into the main event. By the way, let's see how many likes are at.
Yeah,
let's take a look. There we go. We are at what? I think the like button might be broke. We're at 94 likes.
For the best card of the year so far?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe something's broke. Something's wrong here.
I think Teresian Gore beating Azamat Bakoyev is kind of thrown a wrench into things here.
I think you're right. A lot of people are very upset about that. So maybe they decided to take the week. I don't know, but that's crazy. Only 94 likes. We've been getting like 100 before we even started breaking down the card on some of these shows recently. Yeah, I'm assuming the like button's broke, so I'll have to head up YouTube support after the show.
Yeah, we'll call them up.
I've done it before. I'll do it again. All right, let's get to the main event. We got Yuri Prochazka going against Carlos Ulberg. We got Yuri, 33 years old, 6'3", with an 80-inch reach. Carlos Ulberg, 35 years old, 6'4", with a 77-inch reach. Yuri, 2 years younger. Ulberg with a 1-inch height advantage, and Yuri with a 3-inch reach advantage. Yuri Prochazka is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Got knocked out by Alex Pereira, knocked out Alexander Rakic, got knocked out by Alex Pereira, knocked out Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree. As far as Carlos Ulberg, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Submitted Da Un Jung, knocked out Alonzo Menefield, beat Volkan Oezdemir and Jan Blachowicz by decision, and just recently knocked out Dominic Reyes in the very first round. So, yeah, easily the best fight on the card, Weezy, and that's because it is a Yuri Prochazka fight. And this is how this fight's going to go. It's how every Yuri fight goes. In the first round, he tries to be technical. He tries to be patient. It's very funny, actually. And then once that second round starts, he says, screw this. I'm going to come forward hands down like a madman. I mean, that Roundtree fight was insane. Roundtree was looking great early for the first 7.5 minutes, and you can just see a flip switch in Yuri Prochazka. He said, F this. I'm going to come forward, and I'm not going to respect you at all. You can hit me. I'm going to hit you harder, and I'm going to break you. And he's done that plenty of times. He did that in the Roundtree fight. He did that in the Rakic fight. And Rakic was looking great in the first round and a half. He did that in the Hill fight. He did that in the Dominic Reyes fight. He's done it time and time again. The Oezdemir fight. He's done it. He's done it time and time again. So how I think the fight's going to play out is I think Ulberg's going to look incredible in the first round and a half. But once Yuri says screw this, no more technical Yuri Prochazka, I think he's going to start to march down Ulberg, and I think he's going to potentially break him. We saw Kennedy Nzechukwu break Ulberg that same way, just coming forward, not showing him any respect, and I can see Prochazka doing that. Prochazka is going to have to eat some shots, though, Weezy. I don't think, an Ulberg knockout is impossible here by any means, because Yuri Prochazka does not defend strikes, and he eats punches with his face, but he's super durable. He's only been knocked out by Pereira these last couple years, so I like Yuri here. But a lot of money's came in on Ulberg. This is a straight up pick 'em, -110 each way. Could have swore, Yuri is like -135 when I taped this fight a couple days ago. -110 now. Looks like the line might potentially flip here, Uncle Weezy. What are your thoughts on this main event?
Can't wait for this one. Yuri Prochazka, one of my favorite fighters of all time. This is a guy who always brings an action-packed fight. He trusts his durability. He pressures. He throws offense, and he's not satisfied with winning minutes and banking rounds. He looks to get you out of there. And if he fails in that endeavor, he's probably going to get stretchered out of the cage himself. That's just the way that this dude fights. He's built different, Brady. Some guys do mixed martial arts for different reasons. Some come from a troubled background. Some are former addicts. Some are people who just love to get punched in the face and win. It's one thing to go out there and beat somebody in golf or tennis. It's another thing to break somebody's face in half and stand over their lifeless corpse. There's a different kind of confidence that comes with that. And when I look at Yuri and Carlos, I see in Yuri a guy who voluntarily, on purpose, might just walk out into the forest and decide to live there for like a month with nothing but the clothes on his back, While I see Ulberg being the kind of guy that is just a tremendously talented kickboxer. But does he want to be in a brawl? Is he going to pressure? Is he going to want to take one to give one? No, man. He's going to want to use that 6'4" frame. He wants to use his kicks, his footwork, his counters, his feints to not take very much damage at range, outpoint you while looking for that big shot that can sleep you. And if he doesn't find that shot that sleeps Yuri, eventually I just feel like the guy that voluntarily goes into the forest and just lives there because it's difficult is going to eventually break this dude's face in half. That's just the way I see it. Pereira's power obviously is different. And he got caught with that left hook a couple of different times. And one of Carlos Ulberg's best punches is that check left hook out of the orthodox stance. So Prochazka is going to have to really look out for that. But if you don't get him out of there, eventually he gets you out of there. And I think that's what's going to happen, man. I think Yuri's going to find a 3rd round KO, maybe a 4th round KO. But I do think that Carlos absolutely has knockout upside here because he's the more precise, defensively sound striker here. It's just that Yuri, like I said, the guy's just built different, and he drags you into the forest with him. You know, it's like that guy, you know, he fights kind of like Hokat, where he's like, you know what, we're going to go out, we're going to swim out to the deep end, and we're both going to be extremely tired, but you're going to run out of breath one breath before I do, and I'm going to fucking drown you when you do. And that's how Yuri fights, and I love watching this dude win fights. I love watching, because you could see the time when the other person's fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, you can just see it, like, oh shit, Yuri's going forward now. It reminds me of Protest when he starts to decide, you know what, this guy doesn't have anything for me. I'm going to start going forward and throwing now. Protest is like that. Yuri is like that. Anderson Silva used to be like that. You just stay out of these guys' way once they figure you out. So I can't wait for this fight. I think the line should be about Yuri minus 130, Ulberg plus 110. The reason I think that, Brady, is when you look at Prochazka's wins at the high level, he's breaking Roundtree's face in half. He's breaking Jamal Hill's face in half. He's breaking Alexander Rakic's face in half. He breaks Ozdemir's face in half. He breaks everybody's face in half. Carlos Ulberg's best wins are Blachowicz and Ozdemir, and nobody knows who won those fights because nothing happened. You know, so if Ulberg can't put a stamp on a win like that, except for against Dominic Reyes, who I think is completely done at this point, you know, I think it's got to be Yuri's fight.
Yep, I lean that way as well, but I like the under instead. The over-under stood at 2.5. It's about a pick 'em. 33 of Yuri's fights have went under 2.5. So I like the under 2.5 a little bit more than a money line here, because I think if Ulberg's winning, he's probably catching Yuri within the first round and a half. And if he doesn't, you know, Yuri's going to turn it up and start to break him. So that's how I'm playing it personally. But yeah, I lean Yuri. Blackjack money line. There you go. The line might flip. We'll see. Main event seems very binary. Might take a stab at Yuri sub, assuming it's a huge number. I haven't checked it. Yuri by submission is sitting at plus 2,200.
Whoo, that is a big number.
It's a big. He submitted Glover.
He sure did.
The finish only being even minus 150, minus 150 on Bet Online is insane to me. Yuri has so much more finishing upside. Pipe the like button. Agreed. Yuri by obliteration. Yuri is really good at eating punches with his face. He really is. He really is. Blackjack time. Knockout guarantee. Okay. Yuri via let's go for that. There we go. 112 like. Looks like the like button has been fixed. There we go, Forrest. There we go. Ulberg was a stripper. How do you know? How do you know? I did not know that. Very interesting. What's the ROI on underdogs in the main events this year? I don't know, but Mzakonov won last week. Oliveira was an underdog against Holloway.
Gaethje in the first event of the year was an underdog.
Yeah. Kavanaugh was an underdog to Moreno. Strickland was an underdog to Hernandez. But nobody's an underdog here in this fight. It's a straight pick 'em though, Nathan. Under 3.5 in a parlay. Yeah, I like it. Yuri's only been over 3.5 once in his entire career. Ulberg by sub. What, Ryan?
He did sub the great Da Un Jung, one of your favorite fighters, Brady.
That's true. Yuri, yeah. You look at all Yuri's wins in the UFC, all round 2 and round 3. That's the sweet spot. I'd be kind of surprised if he finished in the first round. Did you see Matty Betts' 100K cycle win? I did. Good for him. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
What would your cycle parlay be for this weekend?
Good question.
Let's take a look. I guess the hardest part would be finding a sub. I don't know if I'm picking a sub on this card, Uncle Weezy.
Yeah, that would be definitely the tricky. Oh, how about the great Chuck Buffalo? Looking for that rear naked choke. Maybe Chuck Buffalo by sub.
I think that'd be the wait, no, I think Landwehr is actually alive for a sub. I think that'd be mine.
Okay.
Because Swanson's been submitted like 8 times.
Oh, that's right. He's been submitted so many times. I forgot about that.
And Landwehr has those sneaky front chokes and stuff. So I think that'd be mine. But yeah, I think the sub would be the hardest. It'd be Decision. We got some options. Randy Brown, maybe by decision. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. And the knockout.
Yuri KO.
Yeah.
Charles Radtke sub for me. That'll get you a big number. And then for decision, I would go with maybe Mateus Gamrot, crotch sniff decision.
Oh, yeah. Could see it.
Yeah.
In the past 10 years, Yuri's only losses have come from Alex Pereira. That's true.
10 years?
It's true.
That's incredible.
It's crazy. He hasn't been knocked out outside of Pereira in a very long time. Wow. Like the video, y'all. Yeah, like it up. Like it up. Brother Brady, can you promise the chat? I can promise that I'll try. I gotta find the correct tape for us. I have the posters ready. I just gotta find that tape. Once that tape's up, or here the posters will be up. So maybe I'll go looking for that tape sometime this week. I'll try my best, man. All right. So yeah, now what we'll do, Weezy, is we will let the chat decide the piping and the milking. I think they're on like a 3 or 4 week streak of just absolutely killing it. So congrats to you guys. I want to give you guys a hard time and say you guys have been sucking, but that'd just be a lie. So congrats to them, Uncle Weezy.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, if they're getting us off the hook, because we weren't doing great there for a minute. So
well, it wasn't our fault. It was the fighters' fault.
It's always the fighters' faults. Yeah. I mean, believe me, I could write a book on that. You know, this is everybody's fault but ours.
Yep. So who's going to pipe their opponent on site this Saturday? Weezy will throw out 2 names. I'll throw out 2 names and you guys will vote. Weezy, what's your first name for this week?
Okay, my first one, even though he's never been knocked out, is I'm going to go with Azamat, the professional Mzakonov, to do what he always seems to do, is just throw a laser beam down the middle, find your chin, and nighty-night, keep your butthole tight.
I like it. I'm going to go with give me Yuri Prochazka. Give me Yuri Prochazka. If he's winning, it's going to be a piping.
Agreed. Yeah. I will go with Kelvin Gastelum to pipe Vicente Luque on.
I was gonna pick that one next.
Damn. All right. Well, you'll go first on the milking pick then.
All right, bet. So for the last piping, I'll go. Oh gosh. Well, somebody's getting piped in the Reyes Walker fight, but it's like who? Who's getting piped there?
Hopefully it's not the under-betters. I don't want to be prophetic on this one. I was prophetic last week with Terigi and Gore. I don't want to be I don't want that fight to go over.
I think we could be fine with just those 3, but just to throw another one out there, I'll go Aaron Pico because I do want to see Pitbull piped. I would
love to see it too. Yeah, me too.
I've been waiting for Pitbull to be piped, so I'll put Pico there. So we got Mzakonov, we got Yuri Prochazka, we got Kelvin Gastelum, and we got Aaron Pico. We got 4 really good options there. So we'll let you guys vote. Make sure you guys vote. Like, wait, I know it's late in the show, but wake up, get your votes in. These votes matter. Gamrot to milk, Suarez to milk, potential double piping. Brady, I have an official signed poster from Garcia versus Onama featuring both SD Dumas and Isaac Bulgarian signatures. $8,000 and it's mine.
That's too really nice. At that price, you can't afford not to buy it.
That's true. I guess you're right. $8,000. I don't know.
It'd be like passing on Bitcoin at $5 a coin back in 2008. You got to go, dude. Don't let him find another buyer for that, because maybe I'll chip in too. We can have it like you can ship it to me. I'll ship it back to you. And we'll each have custody of it 6 months out of the year. I think it's a great idea.
I like it. All right, I'm down. Walker and Reyes could be the first double KO. Imagine it. It'd be hilarious. Walker would get knocked out in hilarious fashion. Reyes would get knocked out in hilarious. They both get knocked out in hilarious fashion, but nobody gets knocked out more hilariously than Johnny Walker. That's for sure. Ulberg doesn't belong in the top 5. I kind of disagree with that. I think he belongs here. Come on, let's give Ulberg a little bit of respect. All right, Weezy. So while they're voting for the piping, let's do the milking here. So I'll take the first option here. And we got some options. I mean, obviously, Gamrot potentially could milk if he wins. I kind of think Gastelum could milk. I don't know if they're going to vote Gastelum for the piping, but I could see Gastelum milking Luque. Luque shoots in on a single leg, Wheezy. He doesn't get it. He pulls guard, and then Gastelum just gets up on top, pounds away. Luque's covering up. I'm yelling during the fight campaign to stop the fight! Stop the fight! Herb Dean! Stop the fight. I think Gastelum could milk as well. I think he could pipe. I think he could milk. I'm going Kelvin Gastelum for the first milking option. How about you, Weezy? What do you like?
So I'm going to go with something that I think we saw last time out of Chuck Buffalo, which is him to milk Francisco Prado, takedowns, back takes, top time. Last time he found 3 rounds of a ton of control time and finished with a submission. And getting Francisco Prado, I think, is a lateral move in terms of grappling upside. So I like Charles Radtke to milk Francisco Prado.
Okay. I kind of think Yuri can milk Ulberg with pressure and volume. What else? I think somebody could get milked in the Swanson Landwehr fight or piped.
Yeah.
I'll throw Gamrot out there just because if Gamrot wins, it's a milking,
And then to throw a little controversy in there, Brady, a little bit of a bulletin board material. What if athletic freak Josh Hokat went out there and pulled the same shit that he did on Max Jimenez and Denzel Freeman and Guillermo Uriel, and he just went out there and out wrestled Curtis Blades. Like Curtis Blades wrestled one semester over at the Harvard of the Midwest, Northern Illinois University. He also wrestled a little bit at Harper Community College here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, probably the Harvard of Midwest community colleges. But Josh Hokat was a Division I All-American. I mean, he probably has the better wrestling pedigree. So let's say that he goes out there and does what Jailton Almeida did to Blades, only the joystick doesn't break and he doesn't get stuck in a position and elbowed into oblivion. So I'll go with Josh Hokat to milk Curtis Blades. Would be an interesting option, 4th option there.
All right. So let's see who's going to pipe their opponent, Wheezy. So in 4th place with 12%, Aaron Pico. In 3rd place at 21%, Yuri Prochazka. In 2nd place at 23%, Kelvin Gastelum. And in 1st place, the 60-year-old man, Azamat Mzakonov.
Let's go. Dude, that guy, he's just going to keep doing it, isn't he?
I think he's just going to keep on. It doesn't make any sense, but he's going to keep on doing it.
He's like those dudes, those jacked up dudes that like put on the fat suit and then go to like a basketball court and just start styling on people. Like I think that's Azamat. Like I think that's what he's pulling here, man. I don't know how he does it, but he's like tricking us somehow, man.
Or when I know those basketball players put on the old suits too.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I love that shit. That always cracks me up. They're just dunking.
All right. I was gonna milk their opponent this Saturday, and the options were Kelvin Gastelum, Racky. Who were the other two? Racky,
Hokat, and then you said Gamrot.
Yeah, Gamrot, Josh Hokat, and then Mateus Gamrot. All right, we'll let you guys vote for the milking. Sorry if I misspelled Mateus. We're rushing here. All right, so now it is time for. Let's get to the comments first. Actually, double piping. Ribovics is going to squeak that one. I feel like that fight could be a little squeaky one way or another, potentially. Her real fight will be a series of small pipings to make a full milking. Okay. Azamat to milk. Suarez to milk. And we didn't even bring up Suarez, but yeah, I guess Suarez could milk if she won the fight. All right, so the onset piping is Azamat Mzakonov to milk Paulo Costa. You guys vote for, or to pipe Paulo Costa. You guys vote for the milking there. All right, and then while they do that, Wheezy, let's talk about some underdog. Let's talk about some underdog. Again, if you guys go to Underdog at Fantasy and use that code at DFSBTN, You will get $50 in bonus funds when you play with your first $5 lineup. And I think they still have that 30% bonus, unless it's gone. But they had a 30% bonus up a couple hours ago. But yeah, check it out. Go get your guys a nice bonus, $50 there. So Weezy, what did you find for underdog? Anything sticking out to you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I was looking at some fight time stuff. Some of it might be like obvious, obviously under 7.5 minutes for Dom Reyes, I think is a good look this week. I think I don't mind the under 12.5 minutes for Landwehr versus Swanson. I think somebody gets served there. I think they're going to absolutely just go at it. And then the significant strikes are kind of high for Prochazka and Ulberg. They're sitting almost at 60, and I kind of feel like that could be an under. Especially Ulberg can be a little bit low volume sometimes, especially against people when he's respecting their power. So what I think I'm going to go with, though, is or wait, why don't you go first? Because I've got a couple that I'm choosing between.
All right, I'm going with the Vicente Luque lower on significant strikes at a 52.5. If this was before the Jeff Neal fight, I mean, that would be a higher. But since then, he's just so hesitant to throw. He doesn't like getting hit. He landed 30 strikes in 50 minutes against Alvarez, landed 24 against Holland, landed 21 against Buckley. I think he's going to pull guard at some point and cover up. And that, do they count those as significant strikes if you cover up?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It depends on the statistician that they got there.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to hit 50, 53. So give me Luque lower than 52.5 for my.
Okay, and then you know what? I'm just going to go with the squarest possible pick, Brady. And we're going to go with lower than 7.5 minutes of fight time for Don Reyes.
Makes sense. I went with the square choice last week, and it hit.
It hit beautifully. Yeah, it hit beautifully. And we're getting a little bit better price this time because like that was like 0.63 or something. This is 0.75. So Luque lower than 52.5 significant strikes. Dominic Reyes lower than 7.5 minutes fight time. Join up on Underdog with the code DFSBTN and make that $5 entry to get $50 in bonus funds. Let's go.
Do it. Hokat, he's not even going to win. Yeah, it's a tough fight to call. Yeah, it's a big step up. Gamrot just bought a small dairy farm. What?
Ooh, wow. Okay,
that's funny. What is? I think it's 2.5, right? The Chuck Buffalo.
What is it? 2.5?
Let's take a look. Or 1 point?
They don't have them. They don't have them.
I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of Pico, maybe. I don't know. But they don't have it yet. But they will have it, I'm sure, later in the week. Curtis Blade's out.
Hokat's at 1.5.
Hokat's at 1.5?
Yeah, I think he can get one. I mean, like, Almeida got like 7 on him in 5 minutes, So that would be, I think Hokat could get 1.5 takedowns. God, Gamrot's at 4.5. That's a big number.
I mean, like Rajabov got like 20, so
that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
But it is a high number. Suarez to milk Luque for 3 straight rounds of milk on the canvas, milk on the ref. Oh, I like a taste of that milk. All right. So let's see who's going to be the milking of the week. Wow, it's really not even that close. In 4th place, the guy that looks like a bag of milk, Kelvin Gastelum, 10%. In 3rd place, Josh Hokat. In 2nd place, Charles Radtke. And in 1st place, Mateusz Gamrot to milk Esteban Ribovics, which scares me because I think I'm picking Ribovics. So I'm going to have to go against my own pick here. I don't like that, but hey, the chat decided.
I got the finish only prop for Ribovics, so I mean, if he loses by decision, I don't really care, but I just don't need him getting finished.
Yeah, it'd be kind of shocking if Gamrot finished anybody other than Jeremy Stevens,
Yeah, and he did finish Diego Ferreira with that wild body shot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was a weird. I mean, like that one is not repeatable.
True. All right, so we got the piping. Osman Mzakonov. We got the milking, Esteban Ribovics. We got the underdog plays. So there we go. Josh Hokat will maul Curtis Blade. We're about to find out.
Can't wait for that fight.
All right, Hogan might not even go for a takedown stay. I'm curious to see how that fight's going to play out. I think it's going to be a fun fight, though. But all right, Weezy, we did it. We went through all 12 fights. Any final thoughts on the card, and also let people know where they can find you, what you have going on throughout the week?
Yeah, you can find me on X at MMA Weezy. You can find me on YouTube and Rumble at Uncle Weezy. And you can find my probability stats and content package on oddshopper.com. That's the best way to support my work. And if you guys haven't had enough yet of the UFC 327 card, join me live in 1.5 hours.
Let's go.
And I'm going to do a full main event breakdown. I'm going to do a balls deep breakdown on the Yuri Prochazka versus Dominic Reyes fight. That link is already out on YouTube, and I'm including in the description of that video a free copy of my fight write-up for that fight. So I'll do a balls deep breakdown on that. That should take about 10 or 15 minutes and talk with the chat a little bit. But yeah, you can find me at all those places. I'm looking to stack cash tickets like flapjacks for this UFC 327 card, Brady, and it's a massive step up from last week's card. And I'm looking to have a lot of action on this one.
Yep, me as well. A lot of spots sticking out for sure. So we'll kind of see what happens throughout the week. But yeah, guys, thank you all for hanging out. Again, you know, the looks like the like button got fixed. So appreciate you guys for that. 121 likes. We'll take it. Be on the lookout for more content throughout the week from me. And then make sure you guys tune into the Fight Companion. We're looking to make it the biggest Fight Companion of the year. So far, the biggest one, I think, was 324, Pimblett Gaethje. We're going to make this one the biggest one of the year. We're going to do giveaways. There's going to be stories. There's going to be songs. I mean, this is going to be one of the best Fight Companions you've ever seen in your entire life. So show up and show out for us. And other than that, best of luck for UFC 327. And we will talk to you guys very soon. See you later.